Even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
It's Meals on Wheels. 1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not him. There's only one more. There is only one more. That's it. One more.
Get a rest!
No!
They saw your team put up zero effort.
Wake up!
Remember in the old days they used to have oxygen for them. Where's the oxygen?
Play like absolute just garbage.
This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Yay!
Man, can you keep it down? I'm trying to introduce here. With Errol Marks and Speedy Beatty.
You're not even a has-been. You're never was. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this is a new show of the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Errol Marks, my co-host, Speedy Petey. Remember, you can listen to our show every single Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Yes. Do you like that, Speedy?
Yes, I do.
631-672-3108 is the number. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app on iOS, WWSRN or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Speedster! What's going on, man?
Another thing I liked was your party this weekend. A lot of fun.
Well, you got drunk.
I did. Yeah, why didn't you get drunk?
I had a couple of shots. You know, as everybody knows, I'm not a drinker.
I know. I know. Brittany was telling me that you guys did shots earlier and didn't include me. I was disappointed.
Well, you were I don't know what the heck you were doing. You were racing.
Oh, yes, chairs. I was racing and I won the race, Beeve.
Well,
you claim I cheated. Okay.
Well, that's because the Beeve was in his own little world. But
well, yes. He's always in his old world.
How did you like my speech, by the way?
I did. I did like your speech. It was very, very detailed and funny, like you always do, bringing out that great personality of yours.
Oh, look at you. You're giving me compliments.
I'm
blushing.
Blushing?
I am blushing right now.
I have a hard time believing that.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're probably just exaggerating at that point. I don't know if you even blushed during the speech.
I never blush.
I know,
I
exactly.
think it's funny. I just think it's funny.
At one point, I was waiting for somebody to try to prank your head into the cake, but
well, that was never going to happen unless they want to be engraved into the cake.
Yes, exactly.
But anyways, we have a great show lined up for you guys today, and I want to thank all the people that came out for my birthday and the people that didn't eat. You know what? But yes. I'm not going to say it on live radio. But thank you for coming out for my birthday and celebrating my 40th. I'm getting old by the day, old by the year, old by the minute, old by the second. But thank you for coming out and celebrating a very important birthday to me and my friends and family. And yes, Britter, thank you too. She loves the purple shirt. I love it too.
Yes, the purple shirt is
I'm
great.
The purple eater. You like that?
No, you're the purple Urple, remember?
I am the purple Urple, whatever the freak it is. But anyways,
that's what it is.
At 9:45, we'll be talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner, Stefan Logan. He'll be joining us. I play for the Steelers and the Lions, and CFL, BC Lions, Ottawa Redblacks, and Montreal Alouettes, whatever the hell that is. Alouettes. And at 10:30, we'll be talking to Wisconsin freshman cornerback, our friend Al Ashford. He'll be joining us. Yep. And we have a lot to talk about as we will get into the Rangers down 2-1, which soon to be 2-2 of this series, up 3-0 going into the third period. The Josh Donaldson racism remarks, and obviously baseball suspending him for one game, and the Yankees didn't want to speak for him, which is very interesting moving forward as the season progresses. We will get into the NBA playoffs. The Heat and Celtics tied at 2-2, and the Warriors look like they're going to sweep the Mavericks. So we'll get into that. Also, would Lakers attach first-round pick to trade Russell Westbrook? Who knows? We will get into that too. It doesn't make any sense, but I did hear that Zach LaVine has the Lakers on the top of his list to go to next year.
Well, you'll have to trade Russell Westbrook for that to happen, or Anthony Davis.
Cardinals to be on Hard Knocks for the full season, so that we'll get into that, and I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Really, really good spinoff for Hard Knocks last year with Indianapolis Colts. So it'll be fun to watch. Also, could Terry McLaurin be the next receiver to be traded? I think he could, but I don't think it will be until the season starts. So I think though Washington Commanders will probably wait as the season progresses, see what he is doing, try to get as much as you can for him. And I think that would happen. They want a first-round draft pick.
Yes.
So I don't know right now if any team's going to be offering a first round, especially with the Tyreek Hill thing and obviously the Adams thing. McLaurin is a good player. I just don't know if I would attach a first-round draft pick for him yet. But if he has another good season, I would do it. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But I do want to get into the hockey season because as the playoffs have begun, it has been nothing but let's go Rangers for all the Ranger fans. And you want to know something? I could sit here today and say that the Rangers stink, and I would be taking a lot of Ranger fans off listening to the show. So I'm not going to say that the Rangers stink, okay? The Rangers have played very good hockey throughout this playoff. They had a very good season defensively. They have arguably the best goalie in the NHL this year. Looks like he'll be up for a Hart Trophy. I don't think he'll win it, but I think he'll definitely win the goalie of the year, the Vezina Trophy. But going into the playoffs, a lot of people would say if the Rangers got out of the first round, that's a winning season for them. And when you make the playoffs in any sport, it's not just getting into the playoffs and winning one round. It's winning the whole damn thing. So the excuses throughout the playoffs all the way into this Carolina series is, well, what is the word they use? Speedy, I forget what they say. I mean, Boomer Esiason said it on his show the other day. It's house money. This isn't house money. Sports is meant to win championships. You don't play to just get into the playoffs. If you said that to Tom Brady, if you said that to Steve Young, Joe Montana, Walt Clyde Frazier, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they would laugh at you. You get into the playoffs, you play hard for 82 games to try to win Lord Stanley's Cup. So for all the Ranger fans, and this is not about attacking the Rangers, because the Ranger fans should be very excited. They're going to tie this series 2-2 against a good Carolina team. Not very good offensively. They have not played very good offensively in this series. And it's not because of the Rangers' defense. It's not because of their goaltending. They're just not shooting. They're just not shooting. If you watch the series against the Pittsburgh Penguins, they were shooting 40, 50 shots every single game. That's Shesterkin. Right now, I think the most shots they've had in this series in a game was like 30, 31. That's not going to do it. The most goals they've scored in this series in a game, I think, has been 2. Mm-hmm. That's not going to win this series against the New York Rangers. Now, what we've seen so far in this series, which we didn't see in the Pittsburgh series, is the Rangers actually playing good team defense. And Shesterkin is actually playing well in this series. Now, the excuse is from the Beeve and Tyler Harrison saying that Shesterkin had a great series against the Pittsburgh Penguins is a joke, okay? But I could honestly say in this series, Shesterkin has played very well. Tonight, he has played very well. And the Rangers have been very lucky so far in this playoffs. They've played Domingue, who's a third-string goalie. And obviously, the Carolina Hurricanes' second goaltender, their backup goaltending.
One of 6 former Rangers.
Who is he?
Antti Ranta.
So you look at it, yeah, the Rangers have absolutely they've been the aggressive team in this series. And honestly, they've been the better team in this series. Now, does that make them better than Carolina? No. Could the Rangers beat Carolina? Well, they're going to have to win one of those games in Carolina to win. And Carolina has not been a very good away team. They haven't won one road game so far in the playoffs. And that just doesn't cut it. And if they think they get out of this series, let's say Carolina wins this series against the Rangers. If they think they could go into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Tampa Bay Lightning and knock them out of the playoffs, they've got another thing coming for them, Speedy.
Well, yeah, you can't expect the pattern to continue for them to just be able to
Why
coast
not?
at home the way they
This
did.
is the second series they haven't won one home.
I know.
One away game.
It's something that is bound to end eventually. Now, the other thing, too, is the home success is bound to end eventually, too, against a Tampa team that just took 2 in Florida and won 1 late with 3.8 seconds to go in game 2, and then destroyed them at home. Even though the game 4, the other 2 goals were overturned, that was still an all dominating effort. So, yeah, I think the Carolina Hurricanes have fallen kind of into a content trap of we're going to let our talent just win out. And that hasn't been the case these last 2 games. And you mentioned the Rangers team defense. It has played a lot better. Even in game 2, I thought the game plan against Sebastian Aho was very good. It was a lot of their wingers that were shooting him, and they were kind of doing what the Rangers were doing a lot against the Penguins, where they were shooting lower percentage shots. And it seemed to work in order for them not to get these high percentage good looks and not be able to pass around the way they did in game 1. Because even in game 1, they won it close, but they were still getting good looks, especially in the third period. Very high quality scoring chances. And the Rangers have done a good job at taking that away in game 3, especially. Now, there have still been some close calls in front of the net, too. The Hurricanes they got 1 goal on a backhand by Niederreiter, and Shesterkin beyond that was fantastic. I mean, 43 saves and a lot of tough saves and a lot of tough goals in the crease that could have been in very easily. But they aren't getting the high percentage, high quality velocity shots that you saw them get in certain points in game 1. So I think that's where the Rangers have really improved, and they're finally scoring goals. They couldn't score goals the first 2 games, 1 goal in those 6 periods of hockey. Now all of a sudden they're finally waking up and getting that top line going again, which is good to see.
Well, again, you look at the goaltending, the Rangers definitely had the advantage. Now, is this going to obviously wake up the Carolina Hurricanes to try to get Frederik Andersen on the ice? Because I'm not saying Antti Ranta hasn't played well. He's played very well in this series. He's been very good as far as what we have seen any backup goalie play, and really has taken this Carolina Hurricane to the second round. But so far in this series, he has not been as good as he was against the Boston Bruins. And you're playing a more prolific offensive team like the Rangers, who have 2 really good lines. Their kid line is playing very well in this series, which has been really refreshing watching Lafreniere and Capo Caco and the talent that they have drafted over the last couple of years. And they really haven't developed in the regular season. And now you're seeing the talent that they are, the speed that they have, the ability that they have in a big game. So that is refreshing if you're a Ranger fan. What's not refreshing to the Carolina fan is if you can't win away, you can't win in Madison Square Garden, There is no way you're going to win in Tampa. And if you think you're going to win a Stanley Cup, you got to get through Tampa, and then you're going to have to get through either the Avalanche, St. Louis, Calgary, or Edmonton. Okay? And right now, the two teams, I think whoever comes out of the Avalanche St. Louis series is probably going to the Stanley Cup. That's what I think. But to me, what I have seen so far with the New York Rangers is they don't give up. They're playing very well when it comes to team defense, and they're doing everything they possibly can to keep the puck in Carolina's zone and put the pressure on the backup goalie in Antti Raanta.
Yeah, Raanta, this game definitely was uncharacteristically down for him in comparison to what he was even in game 1 of this series and game 2 when he had the shutout. And a lot of bad goals. A lot of the ones you saw, like Shesterkin had in Pittsburgh, a lot of the ones you saw the Penguins goalies have later in that series too. Get the third goal, especially, he thought he had it, then it was sitting in the crease, and then Zibanejad was able to put it in. And then you even said the second one, which I don't think was as bad, but you thought it was a bad goal too. And the first one was definitely a bad goal for him too. So it definitely begs the question of Carolina trying to get some kind of rallying cry going, maybe to switch goaltenders. And the Rangers, because they're being more aggressive and they've gotten high quality chances, stretch passes, have forced the Hurricanes into something that they're not used to, because their defense on paper is good. And they've had a lot of undisciplined penalties. I mean, a lot of the ex-Rangers doing weird things, not surprising. And then offensively, they just haven't been able to get that going. So it might be something that they need, that kind of spark. Maybe they could trust it for one more at home. But again, if they lose at home, that's even more of a concern for them too. And again, talent-driven teams, you can't always just win on that. Carolina, I thought, had a good identity of everything when it came to grit, when it came to skater depth and everything like that. But it kind of disappeared these last 2 games, and they're going to have to turn that around, because they are the better team all around, but they can't just win on talent alone in the NHL playoffs. You need some level of a physical identity and grit and be able to do the little things, and the Rangers have shown that the last 2 games.
Of another fun series that we have watched so far, and we'll get into the Lightning series as they swept the Florida Panthers. I wasn't surprised. I picked Florida to win this series in, I think it was 7 games.
You had some, yep.
I had Florida in 7 games. I was very surprised. If you're a Lightning fan, there's a lot of Lightning fans out there. They like what this team has done. They're back-to-back championships. Could you imagine if they win 3 championships back-to-back?
That would be
years?
really something.
It would be the first time really since the Islanders, the dominance of what the Islanders did in the 80s. So, and they've played fantastic. They're getting good goal scoring, and even their best playoff player and Point didn't even play in that series.
Right.
And they dominated a Florida Panther team that won the President's Trophy and was the best team in all of the NHL throughout the season. So it was very impressive what Tampa has done. And we all know about Vasilevsky, who I think is the best goalie in the NHL. There's not even an argument. Yes, he might not win the Vezina Trophy this year because of what Shesterkin did in the regular season. But really, what this guy does in the big game is just fantastic. It shows you what he is. And you want to talk about big-time players in a big-time spot. That's Vasilevsky, who I think he's the best player on that Tampa Bay Lightning team.
Oh, yeah.
As far as the fun game that the series that I'm talking about is the St. Louis Blues and the Colorado Avalanche, who I think it's been so fun to watch. It really has been. And by the way, Gleyber Torres hits another home run. And I've been saying this. We were just talking about this.
Yeah, Josh's fantasy team. Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah, I've been telling people about this guy. This guy's going to get it. Now that's 7 home runs. I expect him to have a fantastic season, 25 to 30 home runs. I expect that. And he's gonna get you about 80, 90 RBIs. I think that's the type of player that he is. But getting back to this whole Nazem Kadri thing, and I will say this. I understand if you don't like a player. I understand if you don't like a team. But the racism, the attacks that this guy got because of a hockey game is despicable. Absolutely despicable. On Twitter, death threats, it's disgusting. And for a guy to go into a game with all that pressure, all that situation of worrying about his family, protecting his family, and going into a game and scoring a hat trick in one of the biggest games of his career, having a season that he has, was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And for all those St. Louis Blue fans, and I listen, did he run in what's his name again?
Binnington.
Binnington. And did he run purposely in Binnington? Who knows? Did it look like he did it purposely? I mean, watching the video, it looked like he tried to hurt him. Okay. I mean, watching it at different angles. He didn't try to stop. He tried to run into him and hurt him. But there's no guarantees to that. And to threaten a guy and his family because of a hockey game is ridiculous. Okay. I understand you're a fan of your team. I understand that you want your team to win a championship. I understand that you have that connection with that team and what they did 3 years ago, winning the Stanley Cup in the Boston Gardens. But this is a hockey game. And to threaten a guy and his family is ridiculous. Yeah. And for a guy to come in to a game with all that pressure and all that ruckus, I was very impressed with Kadri. I can't say anything. To score a hat trick in a very big game. And by the way, St. Louis gave them all they can handle. I mean, seriously. I mean, St. Louis was up 1-0 with, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes left to the second period. And all of a sudden,
then the Avalanche scored 3 in less than a minute.
3, and then they scored a 4. They were up 4-1. And then, obviously, St. Louis scored back-to-back goals, cut it to 4-3, went to the third period, and that was a back and forth, just crazy game. And I will say this. If anybody doesn't believe hockey isn't the best sport when it comes to playoffs, but when it comes to the playoffs, I don't know what you're watching.
Right.
Because it is so fun. The vicious attacks and blows and things that could happen in the middle of the game. And it's just fun. It really, really is fun. So I think the Avalanche, and by the way, the Avalanche is up 3-1. This series is far from over.
Right.
It's far from over because St. Louis could win tomorrow and then take this game right back to St. Louis. And if they do that, this could go 7 games. The question is Binnington going to come back?
No, he's out for the rest of this series.
Is he? Is it guaranteed?
Yes. Yep. He's already been listed out for the rest of this series.
Because concussion?
Yeah, and
really?
They need Husso. They'll need Husso to play like he did against the Wild in the beginning of the series, where he had a shutout in game 1 and played well in game 2 until I think one last rush in the third period. But they're going to need that kind of form from him again if they want any shot.
By the way, Jeff says the MLB Player of the Week is Trevor Stories. Hit another home run tonight, but I was told he was no good. I never said he wasn't good. I said that he's not worth $170 million. And for a player that has 7 home runs, oh, by the way, Gleyber Torres has 7 home runs as well, okay, and is hitting .223, that's not great, Jeff, okay? So I don't know where you could pay $170. Gleyber Torres is, 25 years old, 26 years old, making $500,000 a year and has 7 home runs and has the same amount of RBIs as Trevor Story. So I don't know what you're bragging about it for a player that's hitting .223. Good luck on that.
I just want to go back to Kadri for a second. That was one of the most just revenge performances you can get. I mean, those St. Louis fans, all of you, whoever sent those threats, your eyes are all scumbags. You never do those kinds of things to anybody.
I like that, Speedy.
Yeah, and it's sickening to me when you see all these death threats, all these racist threats that you see just because an athlete does something. Like, all right, this athlete didn't do well in a NCAA tournament game. I think one of Ohio State's players last year got death threats on Twitter because of that. You see it with fantasy sports all the time. If somebody underperforms on your fantasy team, you see these stupid fans that want to give threats to them. These are people's lives. Please stop. And especially when you take it to a racist level, tweeting about things about your culture and the attacks and all that stuff, it's disgusting. And shout out to Nazem Kadri. That was one of the best performances you'll ever see on that level, on that stage. And David Perron too. What it was, you're elbowing a guy after a goal on that kind of performance. That's a bad look on you too. But Nazem Kadri, hats off to you. That doing what they did on that.
Jeff, we're not here. By the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, Speedy. We're not getting into baseball right now, but don't worry. We'll get into the Josh Donaldson thing. And don't compare me to Josh Donaldson because I'm not racist, nor have I ever been. And for you to attack me like that, Jeff, shut up. Okay? You sound like an idiot. All right? You're just a dumbass. And if you got nothing good to say, don't say it at all, Jeff, because that's what you do. And you're not going to bully me because I'll bully you right back, bud. Anyways, getting back to the NHL playoffs, I think the St. Louis and Avalanche series has been fantastic. The Calgary-Edmonton series, I am not surprised that this series has gone the way it has. Edmonton, who nobody would have thought had a chance in this series against Calgary, has played well. And a guy that nobody would have thought would be having the series he's been having, it's fantastic. And that's Evander Kane, who has just played out of this world. He's been the best hockey player in the playoffs so far. He has been
10 goals.
Not even just 10 goals. Yes, he's playing with Connor McDavid. Yes, he's scoring at will, but he's doing everything right. He's playing good defense. They're putting him on the penalty killing. He's doing everything you expect a top-end player to do, especially the money that he got before he got suspended for the things that he did on and off the ice.
Yeah, the Sharks couldn't trade him. Nobody wanted him at that time. The Oilers took a flyer on him for offensive depth from waivers, really, and he's led the league in playoff goals so far. Like you were saying, he hits, he's intimidating, he's a grinding type player, and has really overshifted the way this series has gone. Remember, the Flames blew him out in game one, or not blew him out. They had that chaotic win in game one, and they were up big in game two. And really, he was one of the big spark plugs that changed that game for the Oilers. And game three really was the blowout there. And again, you would have never expected it from a guy that's hasn't played most of the season because of him being suspended with the gambling, and then also just not having a lot of chemistry throughout the season with these guys too. And then he's not just playing with Connor McDavid either. They've shuffled him all around the lines too. And he's played well on every line he's been on.
He's
so
a
far.
vicious player too. He's not a nice player.
Right.
How many times have we seen him been suspended from the NHL for some of the things that he's done on the ice? So I obviously we all know about the betting situation that he had and why he was suspended and why he was obviously thrown and suspended from the San Jose Sharks, and now is playing with Connor McDavid on a very cheap contract.
Right.
But he will be a free agent in the offseason, and what he has done so far in the playoffs, and if he continues doing what he is doing and gets this team in the Western Conference Finals, something that nobody thought Edmonton would be because of their goaltending problem and because of their defensive problem, it's been really surprising, and he's been one of the main reasons why they've been surprising. It hasn't been Draisaitl and it hasn't been McDavid. It's been him, and that's the impressive thing, because he's not even the first or second best player on the team. I wouldn't even say he's the third best player on the team.
Yeah, you could argue Hyman, you could argue Nugent Hopkins. If you want to add defenseman, Nurse is definitely top three if you want to add that.
So to me, what he has done has been absolutely fantastic, and really what this team has done, and showing Edmonton that there could be championship opportunities in the future. I don't know if they're good enough this year to knock off the Avalanche or St. Louis.
Right.
I would say no, but I didn't think they would be Calgary, and I still don't think they're going to be Calgary. But right now, they're leading in a series that I really think, and I really thought Calgary was just going to run away with.
Yeah, I had them in 5 for the Flames. That's not going to happen anymore. But when you have a rivalry setting like that, Battle of Alberta, a lot of things could change. But one thing it does prove for the Oilers, too, is now they know maybe they're just a goalie away. I mean, yeah, their defense still isn't great, but it was definitely better than years past. And they have a kid in Bouchard who was a first-round pick who's played well in this series, too. I think he was a top 10 pick, and he's played well in this series. And even some of their forwards defensively, too, some of the veterans they brought in have played well against a very good Flames offensive team too, with a lot of depth, especially with centers too. And that was supposed to be not an advantage, but it's supposed to be something that the Flames have prided themselves on, and they just haven't shown it in this series. And the Oilers, they might not get past the Avalanche or the Blues, unless Binnington might be hurt longer if the Blues somehow do come back. But if they do come back, Husso gets a lot of confidence, so they're probably not winning that either.
Yes, and I think it's been very impressive what we've seen so far. Even the Edmonton goaltending has been very good in this series, believe it or not. I mean, who's their goalie?
Mike Smith,
who's
been a good playoff goalie in the past.
I mean, he's flopping all over the place. I hate that helmet, by the way. He's got the old, what is it, Glenn Healy helmet? I mean, it's so old. It's so old looking, but he's been really good. So there's really nothing bad to say about Edmonton so far in this series. And if they could cut this series, if they could put this series up 3-1, I think this series is over. I can't see Calgary coming back from a 3-1 deficit the way this team and the way the Edmonton Oilers have been playing.
And the way they've lacked goaltending too, all of a sudden.
Yeah, and by the way, yes, I'm proudly supporting the New York Yankees emblem. It has nothing to do with Donaldson, ass. Okay, so stop talking about Donaldson. I never said that what Donaldson did over the weekend. I will get into that in just a few minutes. What Donaldson did over the weekend had nothing to do with Yankee fans, okay? You like bringing up Yankee fans. You like throwing the Yankee fans under the bus because Yankee fans this and Yankee fans that. Josh Donaldson is his own man. He is not, just because he's a Yankee and he supports the sign and the emblem on his chest and on his hat doesn't mean that he is a New Yorker. So for you to attack the New York fans and attack the New Yorkers for what you are. How about Boston? Let's get into the Boston Red Sox. Oh, I'm sorry. They're in last place right now. Okay? And you keep talking about Trevor Story. Who cares if Trevor Story is on a hot streak and he has 7 home runs in 5 games? Who cares? Because where is Boston right now? Where is Boston right now? Speedy, you have it? You have the standings right now where Boston is sitting? Because if it was me, I'll tell you where Boston is sitting.
19 and 22, they're in 4th place.
They're 19 and 22, and they're in 4th place. They're I don't know,
9.5
back from the Yankees. They're playing great baseball, by the way, bro. Now they're right now. They in the last 10 games they're 8-2, but look who they've beaten. Look who they're beating.
Seattle, who's struggling. Yeah,
they haven't beaten nobody. Okay, now. I think Boston is going to give the Yankees a run for the money as the season progresses? Yes, because I don't think Boston is as bad as they've shown throughout this season. But to sit here and talk about the Yankees, why? Because the Yankees are in first place and the Yankees have the best record in baseball? That's why you want to attack them? I think it's ridiculous.
Stuck says, Evander Kane needs to earn that money so he can pay the casinos back. Yeah, sounds about right. Yes, Carl, the Tampa Bay Lightning do complete the sweep.
Yes, they did.
Trouba with a dirty hit tonight, but it's no surprise he played in New York. Yeah, that was definitely surprising. He only got the 5-minute penalty in that. Yeah, you mainly read all of it.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, to finish up with hockey, because as far as I'm concerned with the Lightning series, I expect the Lightning, the way they've played so far, and they haven't even had Braden Point, who is their best playoff player really in the first round, and then going into the second round, not having him the whole second round against arguably the best team in the NHL throughout the regular season has been very impressive. It was very impressive. And whoever comes out of this Carolina Rangers series, the chances of the way the Carolina Hurricanes have played in this series, they don't stand a chance against Tampa. Even if they get out of this series and squeak by the Rangers, they don't stand a chance. They cannot not score goals against Tampa Bay Lightning and expect to win, because the Lightning have great goaltending and great defense. They have the best defenseman in all of hockey in Victor Hedman. So I mean, it's not going to be easy for either the Rangers or the Lightning. And it's so funny when I hear the Ranger fans say, "I can't wait. If we get out of Carolina, we've beaten the Lightning the majority of the times in the regular season." The playoffs and the regular season are different.
Yeah, I think Florida beat Tampa Bay the majority of times in the regular season. That didn't matter.
It doesn't mean anything. Okay? It doesn't mean anything. And Jeff, you know what? Why don't you call the show and speak about New Yorkers? Because you want to know something? I don't really care what you think about New Yorkers. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you want to attack. To the honest truth, who are you to say anything about New Yorkers? What do you know about New Yorkers? Why? Because the Yankees threw a baseball? Because they threw a baseball at the Red Sox? Or the Yankees threw stuff at the Indians early this season? Is that what it is? That makes you. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to attack the Islander fans because they threw things at John Tavares because he walked out on the Islanders the way he did? You know what? It's in every sports. The only reason why it's center of attention, it's because the press makes it center of attention here in New York. You wouldn't even know if it wasn't New York. If it was Pittsburgh, nobody would be talking about it.
Yeah, you probably only know if it was like New York, Toronto, or Philly.
If it was the Texas Rangers, nobody would talk about it. If it was, I don't know, the Florida Marlins.
Oh, God,
nobody would be talking about it. But because it's the New York Yankees or it's one of the Yankee players, everybody is talking about it, including you. And I know he's on the phone, so put his ass through, because I would love to hear his pathetic thoughts to it.
Jeff, you're on.
Oh yeah, New Yorkers are just the worst people.
Yeah.
They're the worst version of people.
So are Boston people. So are Boston people.
And
Yeah.
yeah. It's so funny. Yeah, you're not.
We have more. But who do we have on? Who do we have on a couple of weeks ago? Milholland. What did he say about Boston people?
Yeah.
Please, Speedy, tell him what he said.
Yeah, he said they weren't nice fans there.
They weren't nice fans. They're rude and disrespectful and dirtbags. And dirtbags. Just like you. Just like you.
You know what's the best? Remember when Garrett Cole cried because Boston fans called him Kermit and that was too mean for him?
So that's why you were posting and sending me text messages about Kermit.
No, New Yorkers are just the worst people, right? Because like here's the funny thing. You qualify things, right? You go, oh, well, we threw stuff at John's Farce. Why? Because he screwed over the organization. Oh, so I guess that means Celtics fans should be able to throw shit at Kyrie.
They did. They did. They did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And you won't even take that responsibility because he's from Rhode Island. Who cares?
Yeah, he's a URI.
He's from Rhode Island.
He's from URI, I love. Jeff already hates him.
Please, Jeff. Jeff, no matter what you say, you always try to find make an excuse.
Right.
How about the Boston fans when Kyrie Irving was walking into the locker room, calling them dirty, disgusting names? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That's part of the deal.
Oh, yeah, it's part of the deal. Yeah, it's part of the deal. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
They called him a pussy. Oh, no. That's so terrible.
Oh, they did more than that. That you didn't even catch what they were saying on. There
was a video of it.
That was the video, but there was a lot of other things that they were saying. Did you know that he was trying to get to his car and that they were trying to jump him when he was trying to get to his car? Did you know that?
First of all, you can't because the thing is there's security in the parking lot.
That's right, there are security. And I've been to the Boston Garden. I've been over there. I've been to the. I know where they are. I'm making things up. I'm not making anything up. I can tell you exactly the parking lot and where you go. There's 7 levels. There's 7 levels. On the top level is where the players go, and that there were fans waiting for him when he was trying to get to his car.
But
so what are you talking about?
But all of that is justified because he said that he was going to stay. So if we can throw things, if Tavares can have things thrown at him to screw over the organization, all the stuff you're mentioning about Boston and Kyrie, it's all justified because he said he was going to stay. So
no, there's no justification. It doesn't matter who it is.
Oh, no,
you don't do that.
Then you need to stop qualifying New Yorkers throwing things at Tavares. Yeah. That's what you need to do then.
Yeah. And Snug, you have no idea what you're talking about. So kiss your own, you know what. And I'm not going to say it. Because I'm not going to waste my time.
Someone brings up Tavares, you go, oh, it's because he promised he was going to stay, and you qualify it. Stop qualifying it.
I'm not qualifying anything. Don't attack New Yorkers when you have no idea what you're talking about. Because Boston fans are like that. Dallas, Texas.
It happens. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It happens everywhere. Seattle. It happens in Utah. Someone yelled at Russell Westbrook. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Racist on that Russell Westbrook.
Right? Yeah, no, it happens everywhere. It just happens at a much higher
No, it doesn't.
rate in
It's
New York.
it's posted on New York because it's press coverage. That's the only reason why.
We've had 2 incidents so far this season, just in baseball. Where were they?
Just 2 incidents? Do you know, last year, after the football season, do you know how many incidents were over there with the LA Rams? Do you know how many incidents of fights in the audience that happened, that how many people almost died in those fist fights that was posted on Facebook? Oh, but nobody talks about it. The only time they talk about it is if you're in LA. Or you're in there, and they don't even talk about it. There's not even enough press coverage over there because nobody even goes to their baseball games.
Rams fans are terrible. We see them. Yeah, they're terrible. We get it. But I just said to you, in this baseball season, there's been 2 incidents. Where were they?
What are you talking about? The only incidents that happened this year?
Josh Donaldson and the Indians.
That is not the only. Those weren't the only 2 incidents that happened this year, Jeff. Those are the 2 big incidents because obviously it's because of the press coverage. That's all. It's all press coverage.
We were supposed to.
Dude, he got suspended for 1 game. If it was that bad, he would have been suspended for a lot worse.
I bet he's Tyler's favorite player now, too.
Well, probably. I don't know. I could care less what Tyler has to say because Tyler's going to sit there and think because the Rangers are winning that they're going to win the Stanley Cup. It's
they won. Yeah, no, they won tonight. It's 2-2.
Yeah. I know. I said that. I told everybody that as soon as the Rangers scored 2 goals, that the game was over.
This should have been a given, though. But you realize Carolina hasn't won a game on the road.
I said that.
Yeah.
I said that.
I was saying the pattern's got to be broken eventually, but I guess not tonight.
I mean, not really. This team's pretty terrible on the road.
No, I know. It's one extreme to the other. That kind of it's a statistical anomaly that doesn't happen a lot in the NHL. NBA, it's a little more common, but not as much in hockey.
And I will say something about Josh Donaldson. For Josh Donaldson, and I'm going to say this, and I'm this isn't going to be a long, press coverage for Josh Donaldson. I'll say this. Josh Donaldson does not speak for all New Yorkers, okay? He doesn't. And whatever he said to Anderson, whatever he said was despicable, disgusting, and that the MLB should have suspended him for a lot longer than one game, okay?
100% should have. 100% should have.
All right, but I don't know exactly what he said. And for whatever he said, and obviously there's nothing.
He was mocking Tim Anderson and trying to call him Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, but I think he said some. I heard he said other things too.
Yeah, he's also said things in the past too when he was with the Twins.
I heard he said other things.
Right, but I'm just going with the thing that has been confirmed.
Right, that's the only thing we know.
Rumor. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and give air to rumors. Not gonna do it.
And if I'm a Yankee that is Puerto Rican, African American, Dominican, I wouldn't be happy with Josh Donaldson either. Okay. And if I was Aaron Judge, who's half black,
right,
I would pull Josh Donaldson to the side and make sure that he understands that if he ever does that again, he's going to have to answer to him. Because to me, that is despicable. And for anybody to say, well, because he's a New York Yankee is the reason why he was permitted to do that or he said that. That's not true. He was raised a different way. Now, he could be a hick. He could be whatever he is. There is no excuse. I'm not saying there is. But the fact is, for anybody to blame the Yankees organization for something like this isn't the Yankees' fault that Josh Donaldson said that. It isn't the Yankees' fault. They have no control of Josh Donaldson. They paying this guy $25 million a year to play baseball. They're not paying this guy to say, you know what, this is what we want you to say, and you're not supposed to talk crap when you're playing in a baseball game. What he said was despicable, and he should have been suspended for 5 to 10 games. Why baseball didn't do that, I don't know.
I halfway agree with you. Okay, so just hear me out on this. No, I don't think the organization can go into what he says. No one's blaming the Yankees organization.
No, you should read Twitter. You should go on Twitter because
we know half of what the stuff is on Twitter. So but here's a real thing. Yeah, the Yankees ownership does take some responsibility because, like Steve just said, he had an incident before in Minnesota, and yet the organization chose to look the other way and still sign him. So yeah, they do bear some responsibility for bringing in a guy with history. Because if this were football, it would be all you talk about.
But here's the thing, Jeff. He's not the only player that said racist things on a baseball field.
That's not
right or wrong.
Not an excuse.
I know it's not an excuse, but other people get chances. Greg Hardy, look what he did. He practically drowned his girlfriend in a toilet bowl. Okay, look what he did, and he played football. Hold on, I'm just saying. Domestic violence is just as bad as racism in the game. I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm not doing that, but what I'm doing is what everybody has done, you, me, everybody included, which is the organization does bear some responsibility for saying.
Jeff, let me ask you a question. Jeff, I want to ask you a question, okay? And I'm not saying I'm not racist. A lot of my best friend. I'm just saying. I know you're not accusing me. My best friend is African American. Okay. So I'll say this. Have you ever said anything in any kind of way that's come out of your mouth in the past that has been racist? Yes or no?
I stand by everything I've said about New Yorkers.
That's not what I'm saying. Have you ever said anything in your lifetime that has been racist to anybody in this world? Yes or no?
I think there's degrees. No, I think there's degrees to this, right? Because you're just trying to use.
What I'm saying.
I think that if you were 14 or 15 and said something stupid, you're an idiot kid who probably doesn't have enough life experience to make an educated guess. But they're all adults. Josh Donaldson is an adult. There's a difference between making an adult decision and a kid decision. So saying any time in your lifetime have you done anything stupid is ridiculous.
No, it's not. Everybody. No, I'm not trying to justify. I'm not saying Josh Donaldson was right for what he did. I'm saying that people have been they've said things in their lifetime that has been racist, and they've apologized. Josh Donaldson has done it multiple times. So an apology, I can't trust that his apologies mean anything, and he did apologize for it. But I don't trust that he's not apologetic for it.
This should go to the conversation of. You're flat out saying he's had issues in the past.
Yeah, so, okay.
So we're not talking about second chances here anymore. How many chances should a guy get?
He's under contract. What are you going to do? Baseball contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah, you can cut him.
So you're going to sit here right now and say, you know what? You said something racist. You apologized. We didn't hear what you said, even though there were stories coming out, and nothing has come out saying what he exactly said. Nothing.
Other organizations have done it.
Nothing has come out to say what he said.
Fine. Well, he got suspended for something.
Yeah, he's got suspended for a game.
And it was clearly racial.
I'm not taking that away from him.
I'm not taking that away from him. Apologized before for it. How many chances does a guy get?
Listen, I'm not sticking up for Josh Donaldson. Honestly,
can he say it 6 or 7 more times? How many chances does he get?
I don't know, and that has nothing. That to me, I'm not the Yankees, and I'm not running the organization. But you can't point the fingers at the Yankees because they decide to keep a good player.
No. You can point the finger at the Yankees for seeing a guy that had a history of doing that and still having.
Greg Hardy had a history to do what he did, but the Cowboys gave him a chance, right? Right? Because he's a good player, right?
The Cowboys.
Because he's a good player, right?
No.
Look at the Giants turn their heads from Brown. Remember the kicker?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Remember that?
Terrible.
Remember what he was doing? Beating up his wife, and they turned their heads. The Maras so respected in the NFL, and what they did. Oh, I'm sorry, because they're from New York. I knew it. You hear that? Another New York. Brown is not from New York, by the way. He's from Texas. All right.
Where did he live?
What?
Where did he live?
What? That's yours. Where did
he live?
So what? For one season. Who cares? Yeah, he's not a New Yorker. You know what? You just hate New Yorkers. That's fine. That's fine. You do. You hate them.
It happens everywhere. It just happens at a much higher rate.
It's a lie. Jeff, it's the press coverage. It is the press coverage. Jeff, there's so much that happens in baseball games every single day that you don't hear. You don't hear because nobody gives a crap what happens in Pittsburgh. Nobody gives a crap what happens in Detroit, Michigan.
So what you're telling me is the reporter ran on the field and told Josh Donaldson what to say. It's the reporter's fault.
No matter what I say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I put my hands up. No matter how I argue this, it's not going to matter. Was Josh Donaldson wrong? Absolutely wrong. Should he have been suspended for 5 to 10 games? Absolutely. Am I the New York Yankees to say that they should cut him? No. Do I think the Yankees should cut him? I don't know. That's the Yankees' decision, not mine.
All I'm saying to you is, in any other sport, especially football, because we see it all the time with football, right? Where a guy has a history and goes somewhere else and they go, oh, how could the organization? You're seeing it right now in Cleveland. Oh, how could they bring in Deshaun Watson? They have a point. So why is it not fair to say, oh, why would the Yankees bring this guy in? Why is that not fair?
Listen, Jeff, you're right.
I asked the question. Why is it not fair?
Why is it? Again, the Yankees bring in a good player. That's not the Yankees' fault of what comes out of that guy's mouth. Okay. All right. So what the Yankees need to do every time they bring in a free agent or they bring in a player that they trade for, they got to make sure that he doesn't say any racist remarks. He hasn't done anything illegal or bad in his lifetime because he doesn't deserve a second or third chance. No,
Speedy, let me ask you a question, Speedy, because you seem to be the only impartial one here. Errol thinks I'm biased against them.
Yeah, I do.
Errol's biased for them. Right? I think you're totally biased for them. Every year, we hear Errol say,
by the way, we're going to get our guest on in a second.
Yeah, we got to get our guest on.
Right. I'm going to ask you a question. Every year we hear Errol say, oh, the Yankees have endless money. They can sign anyone. Then why choose the racist ticket?
I don't know. It's me.
Does Errol say that every year?
Yes, they said that that's a lot of money, but he also said they don't spend it like they used to because it's not George Steinbrenner.
They don't.
Right. So they have endless money and they can sign anyone, but yet they chose the racist ticket.
They chose. First of all, they had to get rid of. They first of all.
It would be fair to say that the Yankees bear some responsibility.
No.
Just like
No.
to say that the
No.
Cleveland Browns
No.
bear some responsibility.
No.
For bringing in
No,
Watson.
it's not the Yankees' fault for what came out of Josh Donaldson's fault.
He had
The
a
mouth.
history.
No, who cares?
You knew about
That has nothing to do with them. They're trying to win ball games. They're trying to win championships. If they think that he's going to make them better, that's what they're going to do.
I want to hear no slander about anyone else ever after that statement. Because they're just trying to win games.
They are. That's any baseball team. You're going to tell me that the Boston Red Sox never done that before? Oh, I'm sorry. Manny, by the way, I watched your Screwball, Netflix.
It really is good, though.
It was good.
Really
It was good. And anybody that hasn't seen it, go check it out. It's on Netflix. It's a great documentary.
What was the guy that had the clinic? What was his name again?
Tony.
Tony Bosch.
Tony Bosch, yes.
Dude, when you have the guy in the documentary that's being like, yeah, I gave the steroids and I have the lungs and I have the whole thing. And by the way, they tried to kill me. And you said, oh, Alex Rodriguez, decent guy. Wrong. He's a trash bag. He's a trash bag. But then again, doesn't surprise me. Like in New York.
I actually met Alex Rodriguez, and Alex Rodriguez was so nice and so caring and collective to me. So
maybe because he wasn't trying to murder someone at that moment.
All right, Jeff, call back a little later. Thanks. Jeff from Tampa, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting fella who just thinks that Boston rules the world and New York just drools. And thank you, Jeff, for making my night so swell. Anyways, when we come back, we'll be talking to ex-NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan here on the Sports Loudmouths.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this is the Sports Loudmouths. 631-672-3108 is the number. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app on iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. By the way, before we get our guest on, and I can't wait to get him on. We haven't had him on for a little while. Carl says he is their employee, Errol. They are responsible for him. In baseball, and everybody knows that, when they get a contract and they're under a contract, they're their own employee. They're going to get that money nevertheless. So for anybody to say that the Yankees had any control of what Josh Donaldson said is ridiculous. You want to suspend him? They could suspend him. They want to suspend him for money? They want to take money from him? That's the Yankees' decision. You can't blame the Yankees for what came out of his mouth. Brian Cashman didn't say it. Hal Steinbrenner didn't say it. So I don't understand why everybody wants to attack them. But anyways, we got our special guest, our first guest. We are now talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner, Stefan Logan. What's going on, Stefan?
What's going on, y'all? Man, that was a great conversation, man. Y'all was talking about the baseball. I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know what happened, but y'all was going back and forth. How y'all doing?
I'm good, man. I miss you. We haven't spoken to you almost 2 years, man. I know you were coaching, right?
Yeah. I was coaching for a little bit, man, but that was a short stint when I was doing the coaching thing. My wife ended up getting sick, and I had to come home, and I've been taking care of my wife full time. It's a full-time job, but it's worth it.
How's she doing?
She's not doing. It's I try not to make it sound too bad, but she's really not. She's not doing the best right now. We've been in the hospital, in and out of the hospital for the past month. With the chemo and the radiation and the treatments and the this and the that and the pills and the medicine and all that. So it's just kind of like a little roller coaster going up and down. But like I said, we taking it one day at a time, and we still fighting every day. So as long as she's still breathing, I'll be right there fighting with her 24/7.
A world needs good people like you, Stefan.
I try to, man. I try to be good. I say this real quick. Me and my wife was in the car the other day, and we don't really go out as much as we used to because of what's going on. And I came home one day and I said, baby, let's go ride on the beach. And we rode on the beach, and I didn't know if we was gonna get out or not. So we just gonna cruise on through. And we was just talking about like kids and life and stuff like that. And I told her, I said, I might not be the greatest dad due to not my fault, the kids' mom they just kind of put me through hell. And I said, but I am in control of being the greatest husband. So I try to make up for the lack in that area of like with my kids, but with my wife, I go over and beyond for to be a great husband. So I just want to tell you that.
Yeah, and listen. We've had so many different people on our show. We've interviewed so many people, and when you hear some of the stories and the trials and tribulations that some of these guys have gone through, not even from their families, but mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, kids. I mean, I lost my 4-month-old nephew early this year,
Oh man,
an
sorry.
accident, and then my cousin a couple of weeks later passed away. 22-year-old cousin passed away. Found not moving, non-responsive in his bed
Man,
after coming back from the service. So
sorry to hear that, man.
so it's crazy how life goes so fast. I turned 40 a couple of weeks ago, and it happened so fast. I remember when I was 18 and I graduated from high school. So
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'll be 41. I'll be 41 next week
Happy
on
birthday.
the second. I'll be 41. So thank you. But yeah, it do go fast. Before you know it, you if you was 18, before you know it, you 30. Like,
You look good for a 41-year-old man.
oh, thank you very much. I try to keep myself nice and clean, shaved, and smooth. So I try to keep it right.
I say the same thing when people tell me that most people when they turn 40 they lose their hair, but I don't know if you look at my hair right now, I don't think
Oh man, you good. You good, man. I lost mine when I was about 25. So it's okay. It's okay. I keep it shaved, and the good thing about it is when I'm riding my bike or if I'm out, if we cruising in the streets or whatever in the car and I let the windows down, I let the wind blow through my scalp, so I don't got to worry about nothing.
I think Ryan Shazier had something where he couldn't grow hair after the age of 17 or something like that.
Yeah, it was something. I think he had something going on where he couldn't grow hair, and
Alopecia, I think.
alopecia. Yeah, and Hines Ward, he can grow hair, but he had did a little treatment thing that they had where he had it to where he can't grow. He won't grow no more facial hair. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When you go to the gym, you don't want to have any hair on your body, so you have to shave your body, and it's horrible. It's to keep up with that when you're doing it all the way when you're 17, 18 years old, all the way to 40, and as you get older, you just get hairier and hairier and hairier.
Yeah. Trust me, I know. I we got all kind of little things that we can do, especially, keep, you got to be shaved. But women go through it all the time, but they do a wax, so it's a little different. But yeah.
Brazilian, I always wanted to go to a Brazilian wax shop and actually go sit with, my girl and just watch her get her Brazilian wax and see how, because they always say, what, why don't you go to and get your thing waxed or, get your butt waxed. I'm like,
yeah.
Why don't you go and do it?
Right. I don't want no pain like that. See, the women used to it.
Yeah.
So like my wife, when she go, I asked her once, I was like, does it hurt? She said, not anymore. It used to, but now it's like cakewalk. If I go there right now and just to get, that'll hurt, and I don't even want to deal with it. So that's fine.
Everybody knows we're talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan. So, Mr. Logan, We haven't spoke to you in 2 years. At the time, you were coaching football. Obviously, you didn't take care of your wife. Going into this year's football season and watching all the things that have happened, not only when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the way they play defense, but Ben Roethlisberger retires, and then Tom Brady retires and comes back now for another season. And you talk about Buffalo. Buffalo was one of the worst teams in the NFL for like 15 years, and now all of a sudden they're one of the best teams in the AFC. What were your thoughts going into last season and how everything transitioned into Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams?
I knew the Rams was gonna give everybody a challenge when they Aaron Donald and then Matthew Stafford came over there. I think when I spoke, so I was talking to somebody else that was in Detroit, and I talked to him about Matthew Stafford. I said he needed a change. He needed to go somewhere else for a whole new culture, just different locker room, different people, and as you can see what happened, he won the Super Bowl. I'm not I don't like Boston. I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I like Tom Brady. I like winners, and Tom Brady is a winner. And watching last year unfold was kind of difficult because me and my best friends, we talk on the phone every day. We should have a podcast because we talk every day and we talk sports. We talk about life. We talk about everything. And I told them, I said, last year, we're not gonna know who the Super Bowl team is. We not gonna know. It's gonna be a surprise. And I was pulling for Tom, of course, and I said the Rams has a really strong shot because of the depth they had. And then when they went and got Von Miller, I knew it was over after that. And as you can see, they won the Super Bowl. When I watched Pittsburgh, I said, when I was watching them, I said, this Ben need to retire after this year. He just wasn't the same. Offensive line wasn't as strong as they needed to. Najee getting beat up in the backfield. He averaged 1,000 yards this year, but that 1,000 yards was painful. He was getting 20 and 30 carries. He was averaging like 2.3 yards a carry. It wasn't as beautiful as we wanted it to be, but he got 1,000 yards. That's what every goal for a running back is for the season. But I didn't really think, Ben didn't play terrible, but he didn't play great either. But it was crazy last year, man, to watch the football games and not know what we're going to get out of it. The Bills, they surprised everybody. They've been terrible for a decade. And all of a sudden now, like you said, they the top team. And I actually like Buffalo because I like Josh Allen, and I like what they got going on over there.
So you actually got to play with Matthew Stafford when he was a young player for 3 of his first 4 years of his career. So what was the best story of Matthew Stafford in your time in Detroit?
To be honest with you, I don't really have a whole lot of stories about Matthew. He was quiet. He didn't really say much. He got drafted. What year he got drafted? 2009? I think I drafted 2009, something like that.
Yeah, the year before you got there.
Yeah, the year before I got there, because I came out in 2007. To be honest with you, I don't really have no stories of Matthew. He was just quiet. He didn't really say much. He just played, came in, did his job, and kind of went home. He didn't we didn't really, like, we spoke and we stuff like that, but we didn't. I ain't got no stories with Matthew. I got stories with everybody, but that's funny you asked me that. But I don't have no stories with Matthew.
As everyone knows, we're talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan. So when you look at this offseason, and there's so many things that happen. I mean, the AFC became more powerful. The NFC, which has been dominant over the last, I would say, decade. It's been unbelievable when we talk about the NFC East, which has been dominant over the years, not because of the Cowboys, by the way, but
right.
In 2007 and 2011, and Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin. And then you have, obviously, the Commanders haven't been really that good. And, but then you go to the Saints with Drew Brees and Tom Brady in Tampa. And then the Green Bay Packers with, obviously, their superstar, Aaron Rodgers. And then you go to Seattle, the way Russell Wilson was there. And San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo and all those other top teams. When you see the transition of what's happened this offseason and now the dominance of the quarterbacks that have picked up and decided to go over to the AFC, what are your thoughts that you have seen of the dominance from what the NFC was, and now the dominance going into this year, where it could really transition to the AFC?
Well, I think like with the game, it always it's kind of like it's like they say, ebb and flows. It goes up and down. You know, like they say, when you at the top, you're gonna come to the bottom and go back to the top. When you look at the San Franciscos of the world, and you look at the Buffalo Bills of the world, San Francisco was really, really good. And then, I mean, you know, they went down.
They dipped a couple of years. Yep.
Right. And then you look at Buffalo was really, really bad. And now they're really, really good. So when you look at some of these teams, it's like it's about time. You know, that's what I say. I'm not a Dolphin fan, but I cheer for the Dolphins because I'm from Miami. I'm born and raised in Miami. But it's about time for the Miami Dolphins to show us something. Like we tired of spending this money going to these games. The best thing about it be the tailgate. You know, because Miami is just a beautiful city. We got the weather, we got everything going on. But when I was watching last year, man, it was like when I was watching the games, it was more of a surprise for me. Like it was like, okay, if you was a betting man, you didn't know, like this say 3 years ago, you knew if you was betting with the Patriots when they had Tom Brady going against, you know, Green Bay,
right,
you was going with the Patriots.
Right.
But now you switch over, you go to Green Bay. When they had Aaron Rodgers, would have Aaron Rodgers and had Devontae Adams, and then they playing against Buffalo now, you like,
right.
I don't know. I don't know who to pick. And now it's really worse for Aaron Rodgers because now Devontae Adams is gone. You got 2 running backs, but you still got Aaron Rodgers. Y'all got to get a whole new receiving core, which they'll figure that part out. Right. But then you look at the Buffalo Bills, and you're like, woo, they're a Super Bowl contender team. You're looking at the Rams. All the money they spent on that team, it's time for them. But do I think they're going back to the Super Bowl again? I doubt it. I really, because now when you got a team like that, everybody hungry, but now it's going to be about this. Everybody going to want to get paid. Everybody want to be the highest paid player in their position. You know, Jalen Ramsey, he probably going to come at him, hey, I want to be the highest paid DB. You know, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, which Von Miller's gone.
They added Bobby Wagner. They added Bobby Wagner this offseason.
They did add Bobby Wagner. So I don't think they fell off too much. I think they still gonna be a playoff contingent team. But I don't see them going to the Super Bowl again. I really don't. But it's gonna be a couple of sleepers out there, like the Saints. I don't see them. I don't even see them making the playoffs this year because their team is so much up in the air and it's in shambles right now. You're trying to rebuild. You know. Who I think is going to be a sleeper because I did like him when I watched him when he played at Alabama was the dude Matt Jones. I just really think he's a good quarterback. Like some people don't. I ain't gonna say some people. I'm gonna say my best friend, Mr. King Hall. He's a Tua fan. He loves Tua. Tua's left-handed, and my boy played quarterback, and he was left-handed. You can't tell us nothing wrong about Tua. That's just what it is. But I like Matt Jones for the quarterback, and I want to see him do well.
Yeah.
But it's going like Tennessee. Tennessee is a good football team, but they fell below, and it's like Derrick Henry got hurt. It's like, oh man. So we'll see.
And AJ Brown went to the Eagles. So
AJ Brown went to the Eagles. So when you and then just look at San Francisco. Deebo Samuels, he don't want to be there no more.
Yep.
I say this. Deebo Samuels knows something that we don't know. Something about Garoppolo. Garoppolo is a decent quarterback. But it's something about San Francisco with that offense or that team that Deebo Samuels know. Why would you want to get up out of there so bad? Y'all have a quarterback. Y'all have 2. Y'all have y'all got a solid defense. And you trying to leave and y'all just was in the playoffs? Right. Y'all just in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yep.
But why are you trying to leave so bad? Look.
Up 17-7 at the end of the third quarter of the NFC Championship game.
Right. So I don't know. I always say like when stuff like that going on, it's something bigger than what we know.
Yeah.
And they know in the locker room, because I do know when you're in the locker room, maybe stuff going on that we know nothing about. But it's something that he knows that he's like, I got to get the hell out of Dodge. I want to get up out of here.
So mentioning a lot of the teams you mentioned and the players, player power, we kind of see it in the NBA a lot. Stars want to play with other stars and team up together. But now you're kind of seeing that in the NFL too, where these quarterbacks and now the receivers,
yeah.
themselves out. So do you think this will become a new norm in the NFL?
That's a good question because we was just talking about that a couple of months ago. And we saw the same thing. You got the Tours getting the Alabama players. You got your boy from the Eagles. He got his receiver. It seems like the new norm now. What they're doing, they're trying to get their, and it's mostly happening on offense. It's not happening on defense. The quarterback's trying to get their receivers somebody that they played with. They know all they gotta do is learn the playbook, and y'all can go. It's gonna be interesting to see because I'm not sure. I'll say this: if I see another team do it, then I'm like, yeah, it's a copycat league as is. So if I see another team do that with a star quarterback and they go get a star receiver from a college that they played with or from another team, because you look at the Raiders, Derek Carr played with Devontae Adams, so it's like, oh yeah. So. But I like Devontae Adams, but I don't think that he's going to do as well with the Raiders. I don't.
Wow, that's because I think Aaron Rodgers makes everybody around him better, and I think if there's anybody that's going to take $50 million and take his team to the playoffs, it's Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter who he's throwing to. We've seen to crappy wide receivers year in and year out, and for some reason. These guys turn into guys that are getting 700-800 yards and they go other places. Jordy Nelson, he played for Green Bay all those years. He goes over there to Oakland and he really threw up duds for 2 or 3 years. He was done. So
vanish.
And that's what happens. That's what happens when you have a great goalie, like a great quarterback like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and even Josh Allen. He's transitioning into that type of player. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Tyreek Hill went to Miami. We'll see what he does over there with Tua. Because I think, I'm sorry, the worst quarterback in that division now is Tua.
Hey, don't let my friend hear you say that. He'll get mad.
I might not want to hear the show. We also have a caller that bashes Tua all the time, too. Calls him Hawaiian Tebow.
Yeah. It's so funny the way the league is transitioning now to, the players are all about the bag now, as you want to call it. All about the money. It ain't about the stats no more. It's not about the accolades. It's not about none of that. It's all about who is the highest paid, who's the second highest paid. And I get it though, because the way the league is going and the way the players are being treated and stuff like that, they like, look, if you want to pay me $19-20 million a year as a receiver, I don't care. We could lose every game, but as long as I get my money. That's kind of like how it's going now. Nobody care about whether we go to the playoffs, whether we go to the Super Bowl, whether I get, this endorsement deal or whatever the case may be. It's all about the money. And as you can see coming out of college, these guys with the NIL, now guys are getting paid. How hungry is these guys gonna be when they get to the NFL? When you're already getting paid in college, you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in college. When I get to the NFL, I'm good. If I get cut, that's fine. I just made $500,000. I'm straight. I trying to stay on subject, but that's crazy.
You're absolutely
right. Tell Nick Saban he'll claim that Texas A&M bought the whole team.
Oh God, please.
Hey, I was on Google. I was on YouTube the other night for about 2 hours. Listening to Nick Saban, listening to Dion, listening to Jimbo Fisher, and I was listening to some of the other reporters was leaving their opinions and stuff like that, which is really good because that's kind of like,
honestly, and we're talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan. I have thought that college players should be getting paid for years. And the reason why, if you're making money off of jersey sales, you're making money off my name. And I'm only going to stay in college for 2 years. And once I'm available to go into the NFL draft, I'm not even going to finish my college education. I'm not going to be able to finish it. So what did I get out of it? You're making millions and millions of dollars off these ball games, and I'm getting nothing for it. okay?
Yeah.
And you're making money off of my name. So I thought with the NCAA actually letting this and actually allowing this to happen should have happened 10 years ago. Players like you that were in college that obviously might be coming from a poor family or a poor side of Michigan or from Florida where you lived in, your roots had nothing. You barely could eat 3 meals a day. And these kids are trying to make their family money, to try to get their families out of that situation that they've been in for 10, 15, 20 years. I think these players should have had the opportunity. And these players, and now all these programs are getting, over the years, these players are, these coaches are getting sued and these coaches are losing their jobs because they were trying to help these players, to bring these players to play for their organization, their teams, because they were working to try to support their families.
Now that you put it that way, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I never thought about it like that. Now that
Yeah.
the way you put it in perspective, which makes sense. You got guys that don't even play 4 years; they just play 2 years and they come out. But I do think if they gonna do that, I think they should have like a cap on it, like because you want to, when guys make it from college to get to NFL, they're at the highest level. You want them to stay hungry because, as you can see, with this generation, with this era, I don't say generation, with this era, they not hungry like that no more. Back in the days, me and you the same age. When you had guys back in the 90s, oh, they was playing with. I ain't gonna even going back. I ain't going back to the 60s and 70s. That was just a game. That wasn't even football. That was just that was. I don't know what that was. When you look at the 90s, I'm talking about that was a physical game. You look at now, a guy go out there and jam his finger, he got to sit out for 3-4 weeks. Guy hurt his shoulder. He got to go in the locker room. He done for the rest of the game. Man, back then, man, shoot that thing up and get on back out there. They keep on going. But it's different. It's all about, I guess you want to say longevity, or you want to keep the stars on the field. You want to keep them healthy, playing at 100%. I get it. But I think they should have a cap on it as far as what a player can make. And because I agree with you. I feel like they should get some money because some people go through these, they living in poverty and they some of them living in rich areas and stuff like that. So I kind of get what you're saying. And you want guys to get paid. You want them to have some type of success in college off of my name. And but I do think they should put a cap on it. So guys,
what happened with DeAndre Ayton. If you remember what happened in Arizona, his parents took him and his family took $100,000. And obviously there was an investigation. The FBI was investigating. The FBI, doesn't the FBI have something else better to do than to attack a family that's trying to get themselves out of poverty in the situation that they've been over the 20 years? Their son goes and plays basketball. Their son obviously has the opportunity to get them out of that. And because a coach gave them $100,000, oh, you know what? The FBI is getting involved. You're getting suspended. You're getting tortured. You're getting tortured. Everybody's getting tortured because I was on the phone trying to negotiate a deal so this kid can actually come to my school and play on my team.
I didn't hear about that one, but
yeah,
Sean Miller, 2018. Yep.
Yeah.
Dang.
Go check it up, man. I can give you.
I mean, they didn't do this under the table. What's going on? Who broadcast this?
They did until they got caught right at the end of the season.
See what's messed up right now with the FBI, and now obviously they can't do it anymore. At the time, the FBI was trying to find some kind of story because obviously people are betting on sports. Obviously, what we saw with the Evander Kane situation we were talking about in the beginning, he had $170 million contract or something like that with the San Jose Sharks. And because he was betting on, in his contract, obviously, and it's crazy how this would be in a contract. Out of all the things that could be in a contract, if you bet on sports, you can obviously spend the guy and he could lose the contract that he got. He got suspended from hockey, and then it took him almost almost a full season for a team to take on and give him like $500,000 or $1 million to come and play on a team, which Edmonton, and now he's becoming a superstar player again in the playoffs. But why I'm saying this is I understand why you're trying to keep betting, and now betting's becoming legalized. What are they going to do now? I mean, what happens when all 52 states or 53 states you're going to be able to bet and actually go out there? How about this? The marijuana charges. How many guys have been suspended from the NFL smoking marijuana? Meanwhile, you have coaches popping Vicodins and Percocets and only getting suspended for 4 games.
And whatever the hell Jim Irsay does.
Or owners doing the same thing. You know what I mean? But the players, because they're smoking marijuana and he's been caught 3, 4, 5 times, he's suspended for 2 years. He can't play in the NFL for 2 years. Meanwhile,
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, everybody, he knows what I'm talking about. He knows. To me, to hold something away from the league and what the league has brought, these players are beating up their bodies. They're putting their bodies at risk just to what's the word?
Live out their dream.
Make
the money they want.
Make these owners millions and millions and billions of dollars, and the fans to have something to cheer for. And these guys not going to be able to walk after 10 years. They're brain trauma for the rest of their lives. We've talked to so many ex-NFL players that have CTE problems, that have problems that, and by the way, the NFL didn't protect them on that either. Gave them $100 million, which, by the way, Roger Goodell could go sit on it. Okay,
right.
If he was,
I'm not a fan of Roger Goodell at all.
Nobody should be, because of what he has done to the league and what he has done to some of these players is despicable. It really is despicable. I would never work for the NFL. I would never be an analyst for the NFL because of who Roger Goodell is and what Roger Goodell has done to different players, even some of these coaches that protect their players, that are trying to protect their players, can't really say anything because they're under the emblem of the NFL. They're under their team emblem. Look what happened with racism when it comes to Black African-American coaches that happened just this year. I mean, it's despicable. And everybody tries to brush it under the rug. Nobody's talking about it anymore, even though it's going on. So I think with college players, with all these different rules and setting rules, there has to be, like you said, there has to be something that is put in the books where it makes sense. But there should be no reason why these players shouldn't be making money. It doesn't matter how old you are. They should be making. Now you have high school players negotiating deals before they're even seniors. Wow. Go and play college ball. So they already know that they're going to have sneaker deals worth about $4 or $5 million before they even step on a college field.
That's unheard of. It don't make no sense. No. But if you got a guy that young trying to control that kind of money, that's where we go wrong at. Because as you can see now, with when these guys get this money, look at some of these. Off topic, real quick. But the same thing. When you look at some of these rappers, these young rappers, they get this money. They 2021, and look. When you look at them on social media, I'm talking about they got the pants sag and they got about 40 rings on, got about 5, 10, 15 chains on. They buying all these cars. And you like, what are you doing? But they're young. They don't know no better. They know what they see on social media. They watching, some of the other celebrities. You know what I'm saying? But you looking at, if you watching, like the P. Diddy's and the Drakes and all of them, they're not doing that. They like, oh man, they living life. When you look at some of these young kids that's 21, 22, they're like, oh, I got this money. I'm finna go buy this Lambo. I'm finna go get this chain. I'm finna get this choker.
Drake. Drake was. He just spent like freaking $500,000 on baseball cards, and he's
I know that. I know. But in his defense, they gotta spend that money somewhere because the man gonna take it anyway. So they gotta spend that money somewhere. They have for a tax write-off. All that stuff. When they be doing stuff like that, be tax write-offs for them. They Uncle Sam gonna take it. So they're like, okay, you know what? Let me spend this. I'm gonna make it back anyway. But let me spend this money. But with everything going on right now, you got high school players that's trying to make money, college players trying to make money. They get to the NFL. I just want them to stay home because they're going to get paid regardless. All they got to do is be consistent and keep working. And that's what I like about you know, with everything going on, I just want long as they have some good football. I don't care how much y'all getting paid. Just show us some good football on Sundays and Saturdays. That's all. College football on Saturdays, NFL on Sunday. Just give us some good football. I don't care if you're making 200,000. I don't care if you're making 10 million. Just give us some good football.
I agree with you 100%.
So I know you didn't have one on Matthew Stafford, but any teammate stories from either Detroit or Pittsburgh, or even in one of your CFL teams that stood out to you? What was it and why?
What kind of story you want? I got stories now. I just see when you get quarterbacks different. They quiet. They just come in, do their little work. Stand over in the corner, do their little, look at the playbook 30,000 times. They gonna be the first one in the meetings, and they ain't really got no stories. But if you go like some of the DBs and wide receivers and all that kind of D line and all that, yeah, then you have stories.
Anybody, the best one you have.
Man, I got so many. I'm trying to think of a good one. Far as nothing that's too provocative or anything like that. Nothing, and something that's not real sexual either. I'm trying to get one that's funny. I give you. I give this one right here. This is a funny little story right here because I can talk about it now because it's over. I was in Detroit and Willie Young was my roommate on the road, and we was in the room. Well, I was in the room, and Willie used to come in and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm leaving." I'd be like, "All right." So when he leave, he would take the bed and make it up as he was laying in it. And the pillows that be on the chair be brown. So he would take the pillow and put it at the tip of the front of the head of the bed, and he'll lean it up a little bit, and it's brown. So when the coach look in, it'll look like I'm laying in my bed, like he laying in his bed. And Willie Young, he was tall, so like he had to spread it out. So one time he didn't come to the room. He was like, "Step, I'm not coming to the room, so I need you to do my bed." I was like, "All right." And it's almost curfew. So I'm laying down and I was like, "Dude, you got like 5 minutes." So I run to the bed. I gotta ruffle it up real quick, lift the sheets all up, stick pillows all under the bed so it look like somebody laying there. And then I take the pillow, stick it at the top of the bed, and it looked like his head was right there. So coach would look in and be like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and he just closed the door. And I said, "Dude, you gonna get us in trouble doing that." But that was his little thing. That was a funny little thing he used to do. That one was pretty good. We used to have the bed all made up. So when he wasn't even there, I already had a bed made up everywhere. Before he even come to the room, I got it made up. I was like, "Dude, you ain't gotta come to the room. It's already made up for you. Good."
Oh, you're not one of those troublemakers, Stefan?
Nah. I kept my nose clean when I was playing, man. Mine was a little different. I wasn't under contract. I was every year. I'm fighting for a job every year, so I always try to keep my nose clean when I was in there.
I got you. We are talking former CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan. So before we let you go, first of all, we really appreciate you giving us the time as always.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. I know it was a little hard to get on because it's been so hard this past month and a half. It's been really tough,
I give you
battling with my wife.
I give you more credit than you even know. I could only imagine what you're going through, and tell her that our heart goes out to her and to keep fighting. And you know what, God has a plan for everybody. So
I always believe it.
Absolutely. So my heart goes out to you, your family, your wife, and tell her to keep fighting. Because that's all you could do.
Right.
And you have, and she knows she has something to fight for, knowing that she has a man that is 100% behind her. So I give you 100% credit, Stefan. But
thank you very much.
To finish up, what were your thoughts in this year's draft? I mean, obviously, you saw what the Jets did in the first round, getting the 3 first-round draft picks that they did with Johnson and Sauce Gardner, which everybody could says that he could be a game-changing type of corner. And what I've heard so far in OTAs, the guy is, he's stopping everybody. No, not even Corey Davis, who's a veteran, can actually catch the ball during practices right now. And then obviously Garrett Wilson. What really stood out to you in this year's draft? You were drafted. You've been there before. What is it like to do that whole combine thing and then obviously step on step on that stage and hold that jersey proud and obviously having your name called?
Well, those guys, them first round picks, so I didn't get that far. I wish I did. Just be standing up there with that jersey, knowing I'm finna go to this team on a first round pick. I know I'm finna get about between 18 to 20 something $million without even stepping on this field. That's got to be the best feeling in the world. But when I watched, I didn't. To be honest with you, I only watched the first day.
Right.
I only watched the first round picks, and I know they was going back and forth. They was going back and forth with some of these draft picks. I was really, really waiting to see where the D lineman for Alabama, no, Georgia. Sorry. What his name was? Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis.
Man, that dude was a beast. And I to be honest with you, I only watched it to see where he was going. Right. Him and the DN for Michigan State. I mean Michigan, not Michigan State, Michigan, the DN. And which he went to Detroit. I think he stayed home.
Detroit,
yeah. And that was pretty much it because the receiver for Alabama was Williams. He had got hurt, so I didn't really know, what was going to happen with him.
Detroit traded for him.
Oh,
active your Lions.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was more of a. I was just kind of like wanting to see where certain players was going to go, when it was going to land. Some of the other guys, I was kind of like, all right, they did good in college. They was good. So I was just kind of like just watching. I wasn't really focused like that besides on those two guys. I wanted to see where they was going to go because I just thought they were some real standout guys, besides that receiver and that quarterback from Pitt that went to Pittsburgh. So it was a couple of guys that I was interested in watching.
I was one of very few people that predicted him to go to Pittsburgh. So
you know what? I knew when I started watching the combine and they started projecting what guys were going to go. I always look at the style of player you have for just say 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to try to implement that same player. You trying to find that same guy. He's just like Ben. He broke all the Dan Marino records at Pitt. He's 6'5", 6'6", whatever, 200 and some pounds, got a big arm, strong, tall, can see over the offensive line. That's just like Ben. So you want to bring in the same style of quarterback that you used to, instead of trying to go and get the what's the black kid that the quarterback that they were so hyped on.
Willis.
Mm-hmm. He's not your Pittsburgh fit.
Mm-hmm.
He's more of a Seattle Seahawks fit because you had Russell Wilson that was a little bit shorter. He's mobile, but he's looking to pass instead of run. But he was like that. But when I watched some of his stats and watched, he threw a lot of interceptions in big games.
Right.
So that was kind of like the downfall with him. Like, dude, you good, but in the big games he threw a lot of picks. But that's stuff that you can fix. So I didn't really that first day. I was just kind of like I said. I was just kind of looking just to see what guys were going, so I know what teams I need to look for, what teams was making some good moves, what teams I felt like was just like, why'd you get him? Y'all don't need that. Why would you get that? So that's kind of how I was with the draft. I'm not really a big draft guy. I don't really care for it too much because I always feel like I got to see what you're going to do in the big stage. Now I ain't gonna say when the lights on, because some of y'all playing at these universities that y'all got more fans of the games than NFL teams.
Right.
So now what you're in the big stage at the top of your career playing at the NFL level. Now let's see what you gonna do, because some people, you got some of them diamond in the rough that go 6th and 7th round, and you got to do that one 2nd or 3rd round. He's not as good, but he got passed over because of school size, issues, stuff like that. So I kind of wait till the season starts. The draft, I don't really pay too much attention about.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us, and we'll definitely get you on a lot sooner than 2 years. When I told Speedy to reach out to some new guests and old guests, he told me we were going to get you on today, and I was like,
yeah,
we haven't spoken to him in 2 years almost.
Yeah,
he was the first we did all the videos.
Yeah.
But, I really appreciate everything, and I like I said, we're behind you and your wife. Keep, doing what you're doing, man, because there are very few good people in this world.
Yeah.
And, when you love somebody and you care about somebody, you support them to the end. And I really
To the end.
Yeah.
To the end.
Your wife, all the best, man.
I thank you very much, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely.
Man, y'all have a good night. Hey, but get me on before 2 years, like you said.
No, we won't. We won't forget you.
We won't
man.
forget this time.
No. And by the way, tell the fans how they can find you on social media, man.
If y'all want to find me, of course, y'all can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram. It's Stefan Logan _0. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's just Stefan Logan. On my Instagram now, I don't really have a whole lot of football clips on there now. Mine's all about fitness. So I cycle and fitness. I'm in the gym. I always say, fitness is kind of like the key to kind of keeping things right. So once my wife get 100%, she's gonna be back in the gym with me. We're gonna start slow. We're gonna start small. But yeah, you can find me on. I don't do Twitter, so don't even worry about that. But Instagram, Stefan Logan _0, and on Facebook, it's just Stefan Logan. You can find me. You'll know it's me. Trust me, because I'm always making videos. Either I'm on a. If you see me on a bicycle, that's my page.
You know,
So
you gotta go hang out with Eric Coleman. That's what you gotta do on this guy.
you know what? I was supposed to, me and him was supposed to work out. Cause we play together in Detroit, and we'll talk through text message, and we'll talk on Instagram and stuff like that. And we were supposed to link up and work out and all that other stuff, because he has a house down here that's not far from me.
Right.
So, matter of fact, I need to reach out to him and we'll link up, man, and put a little video together. That'd be cool.
He's doing big things over here. He was on our show. We did a show together with him.
Yep.
And after that, he's now has his own betting show on MSG. And
Yeah.
his little smile and his profiling. I mean, that guy is funny SOB. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he is funny.
Definitely. But he doesn't know anything about basketball, so you could tell him I said that.
Oh, I'll be sure to tell him, see if he. I'm gonna ask him who's in the playoffs right now. Let me see if he know anything.
He's the one that said he thought James Harden's a better player than Allen Iverson. I thought he was on drugs, but that's just me.
Oh no, I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say no such thing. No, absolutely not.
You don't have to sway him. Maybe you're the only hope.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Anyways, thank you, Stefan.
Hey, man, y'all have a good night, man. I appreciate you having me on.
As everybody knows, we were talking to former NFL, CFL wide receiver and kick returner, Stefan Logan. And he's a fantastic guy, as you heard. We haven't had him on for a while, but his personality, obviously, you see the type of person he is and what he has been through over the last, few months and really his career, because he told you, his thoughts of what the transition of what college sports has been and now what it's turned into, and even what the NFL has turned into with some of the players. And a matter of fact, when we come back, we'll be talking to Wisconsin freshman cornerback Al Ashford here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this is the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Daryl Marks, my co-host, Speedy Petey. 631-672-3108 is the number to call. And as Jeff did earlier, just pissing us off, why not call our show and piss us off even more? Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app on iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Shout out to former NFL and CFL wide receiver, kick returner Stefan Logan, who fantastic, really interview, and great guy, really good personality. He really pushes me and strides me to do what I do, and my love and my compassion for what I do, to see what his love and his compassion to his wife, to quit coaching football to take care of his wife it's unbelievable, and definitely somebody that I absolutely respect. But now we have our second guest. We haven't spoke to him for a while. A lot of ups and downs. No college season because of injury, but I'm sure he's looking forward to this coming season. We are now talking to Wisconsin freshman cornerback Al Ashford. Al, what's going on, bud?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
We're good, man. We haven't heard from you in a while. I mean, I check you out on Instagram, man. I see that you're training, getting back into shape, and getting ready for the college season. How you been? How's the family going? And are you looking forward to the season?
Oh, yes, sir. Definitely looking forward to the season. Family's great, man. Shoot, all the little siblings running track, having fun, being kids. And just blessed to be, healed up, healthy, ready to go get it, man.
What happened to you? I mean, obviously, the fans don't know. What did you do? You hurt your leg, hurt your knee? What happened?
I actually tore my shoulder. Had to get surgery on that. Tore some ligaments in there. They put some pins and needles in there. Picked me up good. But yeah, shoot, it ended up just cutting me out for the year. It ended up being a 8 to 10 month recovery fully. And yeah, now we back at it.
Trust me, I know. Last year I had neck surgery, had a disc replacement, and then hip surgery. I had a labrum tear that was fixed. So I was out of commission for like 7-8 months back and forth. So I absolutely understand how you feel. As everybody knows, we are talking to Wisconsin freshman cornerback Al Ashford, friend of the show. I remember we were talking about him when he obviously chose Wisconsin, and obviously going into this season, and now you're a freshman. What are your thoughts to this team? Where do you see this team this year, this coming season, now that you're in this lineup?
Man, I like us. In every matchup we got, I like us, man. To be honest with you, I just feel like the camaraderie, the chemistry we have is a little bit, I wouldn't say better than last year, but I can see a lot of guys clicking together more. That second year of guys kind of coming together, this group. And then also, with me being gone and getting back into the mix, being able to help us out, wherever I can too. It's exciting, man. I like our matchups.
So you're obviously you didn't play because of the injury, but your college experience so far in your first year with the football team and also just at Wisconsin, what has that been like so far?
I've had a ball, man. I can't even lie to you. Even being hurt, I've had a ball. Shoot, Wisconsin's a fun campus. It gets active. Shoot, I love the even school, man. Like I see the craziest stuff every day. It's a ball.
As everybody knows, we're talking to Wisconsin freshman cornerback Al Ashford. Now, we've been talking, and obviously, with everything that's gone on, I understand that you've been very, very busy. When you look at over the last couple of months, with all these different kids going into the combine and obviously getting drafted, what are your thoughts of, obviously you're a freshman, you're young, you're still growing as a player. What are your thoughts seeing all these different players grow from college football all the way to the NFL?
Yeah, man, having friends that are big brother types that I've played with, I've trained with, seeing them getting drafted, to me, man, it's like it's this close. Like I'm, shoot. And then on top of that, like makes me think too, especially if I could compete with these guys that I was in college with, and these guys are now getting drafted. A lot of these NFL guys ain't too far off. Obviously I ain't there yet, but that's the goal and everything. So it excites me, man, and it's a blessing for those guys. Just to have the opportunity to change their families' lives forever. They a lot of them guys. I had a buddy Fayon. He just signed a 4-year deal for $3 million as a rookie. You know, that's
That's
setting
nice,
himself up
man.
for a good minute, you know, financially and his even legacy. You know, that's the huge thing with me. So you know, it's exciting, man, for sure.
So speaking of money, the other big thing that's been happening is these NIL rules really going forward with college athletes that are getting these endorsement type deals. So what are your thoughts on the progression of what that could be? And have you gotten any sponsorship opportunities so far?
Yeah, I've got a couple, pretty small, being that, you know, I was hurt my freshman year and everything. And now as a redshirt freshman, you know, this is gonna be my first year playing. You know, you never know what can happen, but I think it's amazing, man. Shoot, I just heard about that Texas kid who got the Lamborghini deal. You know, stuff like that is crazy, man. Shoot, I think it's, you know, like everybody says, you know, long overdue, things like that. But the opportunity to make money off of who you are as a college athlete, I feel like that just, you know, amplifies the incentive to really want to play and to play good. So I think you know, not only is it going to make competition better, you know, just because kids can go to these certain schools and get an NIL deal and try to, you know, boost these other schools, it's gonna make you know, guys at their own schools, they gonna want to get paid too, you know, so they're gonna ball hard, man.
Al, you know, we have a lot of Wisconsin fans that watch this show. And one of them actually keeps, you know, he keeps posting things and he wants me to ask you some question.
Okay.
How's Mertz looking so far? One question. Braylon Allen, is he a stud? And is Jim Leonard your top defensive? Is he your guy? He's a guy that you look up to as your defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I'll start with that one. Yeah, Jim Leonard is definitely, he's a big reason I came to Wisconsin. You know, obviously having a long NFL career and being a dog in college who was a 3-time All-American, you know, you have no choice but to look up to guys like that. And he's really a teacher of the game. You know, he's going to sit you down. He's going to really educate you. And that's one of the main reasons, too, where I've been able to kind of start making the transition to safety. So I'm feathering between, you know, safety and corner. I've always been a bigger corner, so playing both right now. And the big reason for that is him. You know, he seen some things in my game, thought I could help us out in the secondary in different pieces. So, I love it, man. I trust that dude fully. And as far as Braylon Allen, yeah, he's the truth. I can't even lie to you, man. That guy, you know, he came into college like at 17. There was 3 guys that was 17 when they got to school. Me, him, and this other linebacker named Jake Chaney. And that dude, man, he started off, he wasn't high on the depth chart. We didn't even know he was going to play running back. And he fought his way up. You know, guys, you know, had injuries and guys, you know, left the team, things like that. And he stepped into his opportunity, he made it pop, man. So, shout out that dude. You know, that's one of my good friends, too. And he, man, and what can you say about the kid? He lift the world. Probably one of the strongest kids in college football right now. You know, I know y'all seen that video. I don't even know if y'all did. When he was 16, he hang cleaned 405, like what Saquon Barkley did when he was a senior in college. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, what can you say about
these kids? These kids are built like oxes, man. It's unbelievable, man. And I just turned 40 and I'm 230 pounds and I'm in pretty good shape. And I watch some of these kids. I watch some of these kids work out, and I'm going to be starting to train some of these young 16, 17-year-old kids before they get into college, because their parents came up to me and asked me if I can give them a regimen to get them into shape, to get them bulkier and stronger and faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch some of these kids and some of their training and their habits. The way they eat too. I mean, some of these guys eat like 8-9 times a day just to get to put on the meat and the way they work out and they train. They're in the gym twice, maybe sometimes 3 times a day. It's crazy what these kids are. When I was your age, I was like, you know, when I graduated, I was an All-American hockey player, and I graduated at 125 pounds. Now, yeah, it's crazy. Now, you guys, there are guys that are graduating, you know, from high school, 230, 240 pounds, linebackers.
Braylon got to us at 240. You got guys like that who've just been big and they've sat
ridiculous.
He's lost weight as he's been in school. Then you got guys like me who got to school. I probably got to school at about 170, 165, and then had surgery. I dropped down to 160. Now I'm about 187, 188. You know, trying to get to 195 before the season start. You know,
especially at the position, especially if you're moving to safety.
Yeah.
If you're going to play strong safety or, to be an elite. And Jim Leonard was a great safety in the NFL. He really was. He played with the Jets, Rex Ryan, Baltimore. I mean, he had a really good NFL career, and the guy knows what he's talking about. He was always at the right place at the right time. If you ever watch his videos and who Jim Leonard, he wasn't the biggest man, but he was a very aggressive and very smart in the open field. And that's what made Jim Leonard a very special safety. So if Jim Leonard thinks that you can play safety, then you could play safety.
Yeah, for sure. And then for that last question, Graham Mertz, I think that Graham's really took a big step in terms of even being a leader. When I got to the team, obviously, him being the quarterback, he was, everybody looks to him to lead, but I seen from last winter workouts to this winter workouts, and then even past that, this dude, he takes charge. He gets on guys when they ain't where they need to be or ain't holding up the standard, and he's making it harder to read him. Especially playing that free safety spot for me. Reading him at the top of his drops and stuff. He's pump faking now and things like that. So if he can give our DBs some problems in our defense, being that it is the number one defense in the country, some issues from time to time, I got no doubt that he's gonna give anybody else in the country some work.
So you mentioned you were training at safety. What are some of the big differences that you noted when you started practicing with Jim Leonard in this defense, and maybe some of the things you were surprised at was involved in the position?
Well, early on, I knew I was a bigger corner, especially moving over there. So I was like, it shouldn't be a problem physicality wise, and that was kind of the big jump. I could go put my hands on any of our receivers, and they kind of can't really do too much because I'm a bigger corner. But our tight ends, they like that. They like having contact. So I had to work on I got to finesse while they being real aggressive, and I can't just always match aggression with some of these bigger guys. And shoot, man, I remember my first time coming downhill in the box, I get a big hit, like come smack running back at the line, right? Right after that, I remember the linemen started being like, all right, like, we see you. Very next time they run a pitch, I come downhill. I don't see a right tackle pulling coming right at me. Man, I got cleaned up on the sideline too. So, being able to really just switch that physicality, and then I would say too is just reading quarterbacks. At corner, I'm used to reading receivers. I'm not really keeping my eyes on the quarterback. To be honest with you, it slows the game down for me. I love it. That's kind of my what I've been great at in football is being able to understand tendencies and really picking up on formation keys and things like that. And playing corner, you kind of eliminate that. You got to really, in our system, you're going to play a lot of man. So really, I'm not focused on what the rest of the guys are doing. But now, this is the most fun I've ever had playing football, man. Learning both sides of the coin in terms of playing DB.
As everybody knows, we are talking to Wisconsin freshman cornerback Al Ashford. Al, I'm not a Wisconsin fan. I love pissing off a lot of Wisconsin Badger fans out there. So
yes, sir.
I grew up a Florida State fan, but I root for you, and I want you to be successful. I want you to achieve your goals. When you look at the NCAA and really the transition of these, I guess, conferences, and now what the NCAA wants to do, they're moving conferences and they're shifting different conferences, moving conferences together. Do you like the transition of the conference changes that they have made so far in the last year and a half?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think I read something saying James Madison is hopping into the FBS and things like that. And you got, man, shoot, I remember I took a visit to Air Force, and Air Force was talking about how they think that they could play with a lot of the big boys. And then there's playing against some schools that were smaller schools and seeing some schools that were, maybe not Power 5 that are competing and giving Power 5 schools some problems. So I think it's great, man. Competition is what's going to separate everyone. So, maybe, some conferences, like I think the Big Ten, SEC, it might be a little harder to move into depending on the squad, but there's definitely some other conferences that you could jump into. And I feel like they could some schools could give some people some problems.
Texas has all that money coming straight into the SEC just off a season they lost to Kansas.
Well, don't say that about Texas A&M either with Jimbo Fisher. Definitely want to hear what your thoughts are with Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban going at one another with all this money coming to the players. I mean, Nick Saban is such a baby. I swear. That guy cries about everything. The guy's been in how many championship games? How many championships has he won? And because Texas A&M is a very rich school and they can pay their players, he's complaining about what they're bringing in and what they're not bringing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
At least Texas A&M has players drafted, though, and could win against SEC schools. Texas, meanwhile, loses to Kansas. And how many players did they have drafted in this draft? 0.
Well, the Jets got somebody from Texas A&M.
No, Texas had no players drafted in this draft.
I'm just saying that.
No, I know Clemens is from
Clemens
A&M,
is from A&M, and he's very excited to be a Jet. And I by the way, I saw some videos, and that guy's a beast. He is a scary, SOB. So absolutely, I think. Listen, I understand how and why these coaches are complaining. Jimbo Fisher's trying to protect the players, and Nick Saban's trying to throw the players on the bus. Meanwhile, his quarterback is making, $1 million a year, and he's going to be the number 1 pick in next year's draft. Whack, cry me a baby. You're not complaining about that. And then, by the way, Clemson's coach, Dabo Sweeney, he's another one that's bitching and moaning about what players are. How about this? Why are you making $10 million a year? How about that? Why are you making $10 million? And these guys, the players, you guys are the ones putting your bodies on a line and actually playing and getting you in those ball games. I'm so sick and tired of these coaches because they make so much money in college sports, and these players. I am so happy that the NCAA actually opened their eyes and let these young kids, these kids that have fought their way to get into these D1 schools, actually make some money off their name as much as these STEM colleges are making off your name.
Yeah. One thing I heard that I think is kind of the best view of NIL that I even had, like the best take I've had on it. Coach Chris, our head coach, he told us, kind of those same things, like he loves that we're getting an opportunity. It's, it's well deserved. He said, but he thinks that there's a special kind of kid to be a Wisconsin kid. He was saying, you got to have that name that, you're not going to only play for the name on the back of your jersey, you play for the name on the front of your jersey. Mm-hmm. So, the name is the Wisconsin Badgers. The image is us kicking the shit out of people. And the likeness is we shouldn't be liked very much around the country because we kick the shit out of people. That's my view on NIL, to be honest with you.
I got you.
That's a great perspective to have.
Yeah, of course, being that man, like I didn't join football for the money. Although, this is my dream, is to be able to make money and support my family. That's not the reason I play. Shoot, man, even if I ain't have a scholarship, I'll probably be playing in the backyard somewhere tackling people. So yeah, man, I think it's a great opportunity, but at the same time, I think the game of football itself is one that, you can get caught up in the glitz and glamour. At the end of the day, you still got to line it up and put them pads on. So, shoot, the kid next to me can make $1 million, and the kid to the left of me can be a walk-on kid who's struggling. But when we put them pads on, you're going to have to still hit. You're going to have to thump. So
it's true.
It's
true.
So, speaking of powerhouse schools, is there a particular Big Ten opponent you're most looking forward to facing this season, and why?
Ohio State. They've had a receiving core over the last few years that's been very, they've had NFL guys, they've been putting guys in the draft, and the same way a lot of receivers that go to Ohio State, they think of themselves like, I fit that pedigree, I'm going to be the next league guy. I like to think I fit the same pedigree of, Wisconsin DBs and a lot of those great Wisconsin DBs that come in and lock those guys up. So I can't wait, man. Especially just getting the opportunity to be on the big stage. We're going to play against them. I think it's on ABC this year. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, shoot. Hopefully just because of Ohio State, I get some targets. They throw that thing up there.
Obviously, what is it like living in Wisconsin? And obviously it's cold, during the winter times, a lot colder than upstate New York where you're from. I mean, it's cold at Buffalo. I know it gets cold up there and a lot of snow, but Wisconsin's a different beast. And everybody says that it's piercing. And I see all these Wisconsin guys, and when they go to the Green Bay Packer games, they're not wearing shirts, and it's below zero. I think they're nuts. Okay. We live in New York and it can get cold here, but over there it's like piercing cold. And there's for a whole football game for 3 hours, they're butt ass naked practically standing out there with their their Packer cheese heads on top of their heads. What are your thoughts of living over there? What is it like over there going to the campus of Wisconsin? And what is it like being a Badger, honestly?
So if you live in Wisconsin, you're gonna know we call UW like athletics. Another nickname for it is the Grit Factory. And we stand by that, man. Shoot, if you a Wisconsin Badger, first off, you're gonna have to deal with, like, I remember telling my mom this last winter, it was frozen. I remember there was a 2-week span where we didn't have a day over 0 degrees.
Wow.
And we got kids, I see still kids walking outside the classes. Everybody's still active on campus. And then football, of course, we're gonna go get after it. And man, I knew it was a special place, and it took a special kind of cat to be there when they had a giant frozen block party called Lily's that's on the middle of the frozen lake in the middle of the winter. These kids out there lit, man, having a ball, giant party in the middle of the frozen lake while it's cold outside and nobody cares. They out there slipping on the ice, everything. They out there just having a ball, don't even care. I see dudes with shirts off.
Oh my God.
Shoot, and then even on top of that, man, you get to when it gets warmer, it's crazy humid and hot. And I don't hear a guy complain about nothing. Like, if you come to Wisconsin, we're known for being, tough, kind of, the like rough kind of guys, rough around.
You're a rough rider. You're a rough rider.
Exactly, man. So you think about it, if you living in Wisconsin, you kind of got to uphold that standard. And it's funny because, shoot, being a skill player that goes to Wisconsin, plays for Wisconsin, you kind of get looked at a little differently. Like, man, we're used to having really big guys. Like, if you're not a lineman, they look at you like, oh, you ain't eating enough. We got to get you bigger. So it's hilarious to me, man. Shoot, even being a bigger corner, some people be like, oh, like, yeah, nah, you're not going to be able to play with those guys. You got to be 300-something pounds, the fans. So, yeah, it's fun, man. I love it. Shoot, that's why I was saying, like, the Grit Factory, I think if you come out of Wisconsin and you're a ball player, your level of mental toughness, your level of just being able to deal with adversity is different, man. Shoot, we got guys that ice bath in frozen lakes in their off time. So
they're out of their minds. Okay?
That's all you got to know about us.
Out of their damn minds. That's what they are. Oh my God.
Dude, it's funny because I knew that Wisconsin might be the place for me when I seen J.J. Watt posted a picture of him ice bathing in a frozen lake in Wisconsin. And I thought about it. I was like, man, when I was back at home in high school, I would go get as much ice as I could from Sonic or wherever and would fill up my bathtub and ice bath myself. So I thought, if that's the type of cat that go to Wisconsin, maybe I'm that type of cat.
Maybe you need 5 different slush flavors and then just combine them all into the bathtub.
You will not see me in hell sit. And I like the cold. I ask anybody here. I am a cold man. I love the cold. I hate the humidity. I hate the summers here. Hate it here in Long Island, New York. What I do love is I like the cold. I like it's like 15, 16. Anything under 15, 16 degrees, it's no, man, for me. And for me to go into a lake and have an ice bath in below 0 weather, you have to be nuts to do that.
See,
okay?
You know what's funny? I used to say, my threshold was like, all right, if it's anything under like 15, I don't want to go outside. Now it's about 0. If it's anything under 0, I won't go outside.
15's warm in Wisconsin.
No, for real. I remember we had a day, man, after that stretch of below 0 days. I want to say it was 30 degrees. I was outside in a t-shirt, and nobody tell me it wasn't warm, man. Shoot.
That's what we feel like when it's like 40, like this past week, it's been really, really hot. But when it was like cold, like in the 20s, 30s, everybody's like, oh, it's freezing. And I was like, when it was in the 40s, everybody thought it was still freezing. I'm wearing like a wife beater. I'm walking outside.
We thought you were nuts.
And everybody thinks I'm nuts. And I'm like, this isn't cold. But when I'm walking outside, when it's like 10 degrees and it's snowing and it's like, I was like, okay, it's a little cold. You know what I mean? But people look at I'm snow shovel. Well, I was not this year, but last year I was snow shoveling in like below 0 weather. People think I was nuts because I was wearing flip flops.
See, this is the merit now of you can't judge football players and fans going into snow in 0 degrees temperatures and trying to show off with a shirt on. If Quentin Nelson can't do it in that snow playoff game against the Chiefs, then nobody can do it.
There you go.
Dude, man, I remember we had a frozen game. It was real cold against Northwestern. And I was out there in just the jersey. I don't know. It's something about I wouldn't say it's like trying to be tough or anything like that for us, at least. It's just you get to a point of like, I don't know. You just got this like we the grit factor. You look at the guy next to you, he's like, I'm about to go punch somebody in the mouth. And he ain't wearing no sleeves in his
Was
phone.
that the 14-7 like defensive duel or something like that this season?
Yeah.
I know you had one of those games. Yeah, it was Northwestern. Okay.
Shoot, man, and then even to make it, just to kind of give you some insight to Wisconsin, our long-term injury guys before games will all not wear sleeves, and we'll go to the weight room and do a straight arm circuit and try to get the biggest pump we can before we have to either jog, wheel, or walk outside in the cold and just try to look as big as possible. We all shoot. Anytime you're an injured guy, it's a challenge to see who can get the swollest, who's going to be the biggest while they hurt.
Yeah, I believe that. So I know a lot of different college players that always me even when I played sports or even now, before I go out and stuff like that, you want to get a pump because you want to look bigger. You want your shirts to fit, snug and stuff like that. Because people, when people see that you have a pump, all that blood flow and blood, your muscles look bigger, your shoulders look bigger, your back looks bigger. And people think you're just a beast. And a lot of these guys don't understand that it takes a lot of discipline to train and really push your bodies to that next limit. It's not easy. Not everybody could be an athlete, a Division I athlete. It takes very special people, very tough people to do that kind of stuff. So, Al, you know that, and you've worked really, really hard to get where you are today. And you keep doing what you're doing, you will get your dream. You'll play in the NFL, and you'll be able to support your family in the very near future. And we need to talk, as you know, we've kind of parted, because I know you're busy, man, and I know everything that was going on in the regular season. You were very stressed out, and what you were posting, I could tell that you were very depressed. Because you weren't playing and stuff like that. I could only imagine when you're out for a year or 10 months, and pins and needles and pins and screws in your shoulder, and you've never had an injury like that your whole career because you were dominant in high school. And then and you step on a football field, you hurt yourself, and you're out for a whole year, and you want to help your team, you want to be a part of it, and you're sitting there saying, like, when is my turn? When is my turn? When is it going to be my turn? But
shoot, man, the crazy part is, you always think moments like that, like those big hits, you might like kind of think afterwards, oh my good, man, I got hurt on a blocking drill. I ain't even fall nothing. Like the most lack of contact, freak injury, just like I'm chilling. And then next thing you know, I'm like, man, something wrong. And then it being a major injury, So I think that this time being hurt, I think it was a blessing, man. It allowed me to really be able to put God first in my life, to be able to let God be God, and to be able to, figure out my support system, really figure out who's in my circle, to really also to have that mental toughness to, like, no matter what's thrown my way, I'm gonna be good. Not only because I got God with me, but man, I'm cut from a different cloth.
And that's stuff. When we've talked to all you young guys, and we've talked to a lot of top young athletes that went in, college D1 the same year you did, before COVID even happened, and all the trials and tribulations you guys have gone through the COVID situation, not playing in front of fans, and then obviously what you've been through with the injury that you had your freshman year, and not really getting an opportunity to really show what you can do. To have a support system, a family the way you do, and even the coaches that you have. And Jim Leonard, like, I met Jim Leonard years and years ago when he was playing, he was playing for the Jets. And Jimmy, he doesn't look much of anything, when you look at him, he's 5 foot, 5'9", 5'10" at most.
Yeah, it's like 5'8", 185 or something like that. Yeah.
But what made him so special, and Rex Ryan said it best about him, is he was the first person on the field and he was the last person to leave. And the guy was built like an ox. He was a leader. He was the back end captain of the secondary. And the guy saw things that other people didn't see. And that's what made him very, very special. Unfortunately, Jim Leonard has, over the years, he fought so much injury in professional football that he really never got to that staff where people could say that Jim Leonard was one of the best safeties in the league. But I think Jimmy's going to be a great NFL coach eventually. I think he's going to get a shot, and I think that's where he wants to go eventually.
Shoot, I was happy he had got offered that Packers DC job.
Yep.
I was happy he rolled with us, man. Shoot.
He's going to get a coaching job. He absolutely is.
No doubt, man. Shoot, it's crazy because man, just the way he sees the game, like it's almost like he's playing Madden, man. And he'll call stuff out. We'll be watching film on. He'll put NFL cut-ups from any of our favorite guys. Whoever's picked, he'll come to you and be like, hey, man, pick 3 guys. He'll put a cut-up of all of their PBUs and all of the big plays they gave up.
Wow.
And he'll tell you why they gave them up. And he'll break down tendencies. And he'll like, shoot, I remember my first time meeting with him, and we had met on the phone a couple times before I got to school. My first time at school with him, he was like, all right, man, yeah, come in at 12. I get there at 12. He's eating his lunch, and he's going through film with me. And he's going so fast and calling out tendencies and stuff that I'm like, hold on, coach, wait, I'm trying to write stuff down. Ended up being 3 hours of him flicking through like 10 plays and telling me what everyone's supposed to do in these 10 plays, and then telling me what would have happened, and then showing me clips from those teams at different parts of the season run the same play and what they did different and why they scored or why they got a pick or whatever. And I was like, all right, well, this dude is going to make me a great NFL DB because he just knows this game. So
he played your position.
Yeah. Exactly.
He played your position. He understands, and he'll tell you you're a lot bigger and you're a lot stronger and you're built bigger and stronger and faster than he ever was. But guys like that, you listen to because they're smarter, and he didn't build his game around speed and size. He built his game about using his smart understanding, reading plays, seeing plays before they even happen. And Ray Lewis said it best. You could be the biggest, the fastest, the best on the field. It's always the smarter ones, the more technical ones that are always the ones that appear better than those guys. So
Jim Leonard should do one of those things for Trayvon Diggs so that he can show Cowboys fans he's not a top 3 corner in the league, because he led the league in interceptions, but he also led the league in penalty yards and big plays.
Yeah, man, it's tough, man. You got different play styles. That's one thing, too, what I realized when I got to college. Some guys love that gambling game. They're going to jump every single route. And if they give up 6, they're not mad because they know they're going to get a pick that same day.
Well, you watch Diggs on the Cowboys this year. I mean, that guy, you watch him play. That's the first thing he does. The first thing, second thing, and third thing he's looking for is that pick. And in the beginning of the season, it worked. He was dominant. He had like 8 interceptions. In the second half of the season, he couldn't buy a pick because everybody knew what he was doing. So what they were doing, there's a wait until he moves out of the flats, and they would beat him on a long ball. And he was getting beat all the time in the second half. And Cowboy fans were like, oh, we got a great corner.
Oh, top 3 corner in the league. Meanwhile, he gave up the most penalty yards.
He gave
and
up
big
the
plays.
most penalty yards. It doesn't matter how many interceptions he had, because in the beginning of the season, everybody says he was the defensive player of the year.
Oh, yeah.
In the end, teams figured him out by watching video and understanding that he was always jumping the routes.
Al, you must have loved as a Giants fan that when Kadarius Toney roasted him.
Yeah, man, shoot. It's crazy because, like, you get those, especially as a DB, man, you'll get them times where you're like, man, I'm jumping everything. Like, everything is looking great. Like, I feel like every ball's thrown to me. And as soon as you get that, I've always had this, like, tickle in the back of my head, this thought, like, man, they're going to double move me. If I keep jumping this, someone's going to – so, I'll try to, always make sure I'm making a play on the ball. And, man, shoot, it's tough. You get them days you're just that confident. And I can't imagine a guy like that getting that many picks early on, trying to not be as confident, trying to be more reserved after that. It got to be tough, man.
Yeah, we actually talked to Farrell, who was drafted by the Oakland Raiders in the 4th round. And then 2 picks after him, the tight end, what's his name again?
Charlie Kohler.
Who we interviewed before the draft. Nice kid. Really, really liked the kid. And he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. And boy, oh boy, did the Baltimore Ravens absolutely hit home runs in this year's draft. Fantastic draft. And I think Kohler is going to be a sensational player. I think you're going to be a good player too, man. Just keep up the good work, put the time in, put your energy in, and always trusting God in who you are as a person and an athlete. And always remember that it's not like I said, it's not the biggest, the strongest, and the fastest guy that succeeds. It's the smartest guy. And that Jim Leonard could attest to that on what he has done, in his NFL career and even his college career as a great college player that he was. And Rex Ryan will tell you too, he's one of the best players he's ever coached. And he's talking about Ray Lewis and all those other guys, Suggs and all those other guys he's coached. You ask Rex Ryan, I've asked Rex Ryan, who are the 3 best players he's ever coached? Jim Leonard was one of those 3. So that just...
No, I see what's funny, man. I tried to clown him the other day on YouTube. They had a highlight reel of him. and it said shortest safety in NFL history. So I sent it to him. Was like, "What's going on, coach?" And he he thought it was funny, man. He was like, "Oh, he always says every time you say something about joking about being short, he'll be like, I was never the shortest DB on any team I played for." I mean, yeah,
oh, he's one of those guys, huh? Just call him Mighty Mouse. That's what you call him. Just call him Mighty Mouse. But Rex Ryan said it. Rex Ryan's it's one of the greatest defensive minds in NFL history. He will tell you one of the top 3 players he's ever coached was Jim Leonard, and that just tells you what type of player Jim Leonard is.
And Leonard wasn't always the starting safety there either. It was Ed Reed and DeJuan Landry.
And he said that Ed he was smarter than Ed Reed was on the field.
Wow.
Like Ed Reed was the more talented player, but Jim Leonard was smarter than all the guys on the field. He saw things before they even happened. He knew where the ball was going before the ball was thrown that way. So that's what makes Jim Leonard special. And getting and have an opportunity to train with him and actually learn from him is going to make you a better player.
No doubt. Sure, yeah, no, he definitely was a blessing, man. And then even, because I am still playing corner here or there, but I'm, making that transition, he was big on like, man, I want you to really know everything in the secondary because I'm one of those cats that can play different spots in the secondary. I can be that big nickel and play in the slot just because I got enough feet for it. I can play outside, just guarding the big wide out. I can play, safety just because of the physicality piece. So I think that, learning from him and just learning football, not just the safety position, but just ball and picking his brain, that can only boost my stock, tenfold. Just being able to, say I'm a Jim Leonard product and being able to understand football at that level is amazing.
Same thing with Devin Kirkwood. We've been in contact with him, and Kirk is, he's a different personality. Obviously, likes to laugh. He's like a little kid. He's different. He has a different personality than you. You're more really calm, collective, but you have that that personality. He's just a funny, outgoing, laughable type of kid. You know what I mean? And
heavy trash talker
and a trash talker, a big time trash talker. And I've been in contact with him too, and he's really excited for this season. He played very well. The bits and pieces that we saw him this year, there was some sparks that we saw that Devin could really stand out. And I talked to a bunch of analysts, like top end analysts that are like scouting, the next big superstar, draft picks. And they said right now, if he were to go into the NFL, he's a 3rd round draft pick. I told Devin that. He says, oh, well, I got a couple of years to prove him and shut them up on that one. So it's, the proof is in the pudding. As talented and you could be the best athlete on the field, but if you don't put the work in, you're not gonna hit that opportunity where you can shine like everybody else. So you have it, man, and you have it, and you're New York, born and bred here, and that's why.
Yes, my fellow Giants fan.
I don't like that. There are 2 things I don't like about you, but everything else I love. You're a Giants fan, and you play for the Badgers. But everything else, I love you, man. I love you. I love your personality. I love everything about you. I want you to succeed. I want you to do the best that you possibly can, and I believe you will, because you know what? You're a New Yorker, and you know what it's like. You know what it is to be from nothing and go to something. And I think that's something that only people like us would understand. And if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So
yes, sir.
So
Al, before we let you go, you like the Giants draft?
I do. There's I like.
Don't lie now.
No,
don't lie.
No, don't let him sway you.
Nah, I mean, I'll say this. I like the
first round was good.
I think he's good. I think he's a ball player, man. There's a few other guys we picked up that I thought were solid guys. That safety from Iowa, I thought he was solid.
Yeah.
Felton.
Like, to be honest with you, I just feel like with the Giants, we really got to look in the free agency, man. I think I love that we're getting young cats.
Where's your father? Where's your father? I see you looking over there. Is that your father? Is that your pop?
He over there. He in the cut over there.
Yeah, get him over here. Get him. I know he's a Giants fan. Get him over here. Come on, Pops. Come here, Pops. Let's get
on the radio show real quick.
Come over here. Come here, Pops. I know you're a Giant fan. I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth from Daddy Dukes over here.
He on the way, man.
Come on, Pops. I got a
Talking
question
about the
for you.
Giants draft. They got some questions for you.
I got some questions for you. There he is. There he is, Pops. I know you're a Giant fan, man. So tell me the truth. Did you think the Giants home run this draft? Yes or no?
I think it was finally a good draft. I'll say that. It's been some years since we've seen something like this, but we'll see what happens.
I think Kevon Thibodeau was a great pick for them. I think it was a very smart move by them. Evan Neal, I was very surprised he was sitting there. I think their first round was fantastic. They absolutely A-plus first round.
Yes,
they were reaching on Robinson. I don't know why. They drafted the same type of guy in the first round the year before that. It doesn't make any sense why they went that route. I think the kid, what was it? Not the safety. The 6th round pick? Who was it? The linebacker, right?
It was Darian Beavers.
Beavers, I heard is going to be special. I've heard a lot of different things about him. We've talked to a bunch of big analysts that really have studied this kid and say that this kid was better than a 6th round draft pick.
Right.
I think they were reaching in certain areas of the draft. But all in all, I think if these two guys, Thibodeau and Neal, turn out to be starters and star players, the Giants home run, because all you need is 2 players to change your organization.
Yeah.
And I think a pass rusher they haven't had since Justin Tuck was the last big pass rusher they've had. And I've interviewed Justin quite a few times. He's a friend of the show. And Justin would tell you that, when he had Strahan, him, and O.C. Umenyiora, we were beasts at the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
I mean, the Giants need that, and the Giants. I'm a Jet fan, so trust me. I've dealt with a lot of woes. I think the Jets absolutely home run this year's draft. It was fantastic.
Right.
It really did. But I wanted to know your opinion because your son's a big Giant fan. It's the 2 things I can't stand about anything about Giant fans. I don't. And being that I love your son. He's a Giant fan. He's a Badger. Those are 2 things I don't like. But
don't worry. Al's coming for the swag level of Thibodeau when he gets drafted.
It's nice meeting you, Dad.
Likewise, man. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. Your father's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Your father's awesome. But
Al, you better come for that swag level of Thibodeau when you get drafted.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Shoot, y'all gonna see, especially.
Yeah, you'll go to the Jets. Go to the Jets. I love you even more. I'll play with Sauce.
If Sauce stood there locking up, I have no problem being on that other side locking up. Or if I'm the safety, having him down there with me.
Are you listening? Are you reading what's going on over there?
I heard he's been locking.
He's locking everybody down right now over there. He locked down Corey Davis. He locked down Garrett Wilson. He's locking down everybody over there. So if Sauce is anything what they say he is, boy, oh boy, the Jets have themselves a nice gem.
Now, he reminds me of Pat Surtain. I've actually got to train with him a little bit in Denver. And Pat Surtain and him have similar, movements to me from what I've seen on film. That length, you can't teach that and that athleticism, man. Shoot, but he a ball player, man. He a ball player.
Anyways,
Ben says Packers better pick you up.
No. He'll go to the Jets. Then I'll love him even more. You can come over here. We'll hang out. Take him out to a winery in the summertime. He'll love it.
Shoot, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. If I was picked up anywhere in the Northeast like that, if I got picked up by one of them squads, I know I got some family that'd be crazy excited, man. Shoot.
I have a feeling you're gonna wind up going to Buffalo, man. So.
That'd be my mom.
The weather will train you for that.
My mom would be upset actually if I went to Buffalo. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Watch, that's just gonna happen. I'm predicting it. You'll be a 2nd or 3rd round pick to Buffalo. You watch. Are you ready? If it's true, you're gonna have to take us out to drinks. But
okay, I got you. Shoot, yeah. Remember this today. Shoot.
I don't forget anything, bud, so don't worry about it. We'll be in touch, man. We'll definitely be in touch. We really appreciate you joining us. Thank you for giving us the time, man. Say hello to the whole family and get healthy, man, and get ready for the season. We'll be in touch. We'll get you on the show again. I'll be in touch with you soon, too.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. You have a great one.
Thank you. As everybody knows, we were talking to Wisconsin Badger freshman cornerback Al Ashford. Love the kid. Though, like I said, Speedy, there's 2 things I don't love about him. He's a Giant fan.
No, you love it. You love it.
A Badger, which I do not like, ladies and gentlemen. I do not like the Badgers, and I do not like the Giants.
But now what happens if he gets drafted by the Bills?
I love him. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he'll stay on the Northeast. He'll go to the Bills. You watch.
So where would that rank among those three scenarios? Now he's playing in your division. If he gets drafted by the Bills, then he's a Giant fan and a Wisconsin Badger. What is the ranking?
I don't
of
hate
those?
the Bills. I don't hate the Bills. I don't.
All right. So the Bills are the lesser of the three evils, huh?
I out of all the teams in the same division as mine, I don't dislike the Bills. I mean, I don't like the Patriots, and I don't like the Miami Dolphins. I mean, the Buffalo Bills. What have the Buffalo Bills done to the Jets? I mean, the Jets and the Bills have been back and forth for years. I mean, nobody's been better than any of them. So I don't hate the Bills. So if he went to the Bills, I'm going to root him on anyways. I love the kid. I think he's a great kid, and I want him to succeed. He deserves it, you know, and he's worked really, really hard. You heard him. He loves coaching. He's got a good family. He really does. You saw his father.
Yeah, no, he was mentioning the last time we had him on. I think that he was coaching a team that went undefeated or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't get to do it as much with him now being at Wisconsin.
No,
and
training and trying to get.
I know he
also
loves
trying
coaching,
and also trying to get healthy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I know that.
When you get pins and screws in your shoulder, guys, I'll tell you this: I had hip surgery and I had neck surgery this year. The healing process is horrible. It's a horrible, and I'm still healing with my hip. It's horrible. And when you're an athlete and you're striving to get healthy and be better. You know, there's always, you always hit these walls, and that's same thing with me. I mean, with my hip, my neck. I just went to see my neck doctor yesterday, and my neck doctor says it's been a full year. That it looks like everything is good. That you don't have to see me for another year. I think you're ready to go. I think you're going to be fine. And that was something good news because I was afraid more than my hip, and now my hip is going to take 12 to 13 months. That's what I'm saying. And I'm telling you guys right now. My hip is still not 100%, and it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling to know that the things that you used to be able to do, you can't do right now. It's horrible, and maybe never be able to do it the way you used to do it. So
Stuck says he wants to go to the Patriots just like every other player on draft day. Ben with the beaver emojis or the badger emoji. Snug says hashtag Ben the Beav. No, Snug, it was not a fantasy team. He actually coaches youth football, and his team he was telling us his team in 2020 in the COVID shortened season went undefeated.
Ranger fans are loving it today. They've tied against Carolina 2-2. We won't hear the end of it until Thursday, and then if Carolina wins, which they will. On Thursday.
Yeah, that's the pattern right now.
Yep, they will be hearing like, oh, we're going to jump off a cliff. The Rangers better win at home. So it just...
They got to break the pattern at some point to win this series.
I don't think so. I think it's going to...
You think it's a complete pattern's going to happen?
Yeah, it's just like he went the last
that would be really weird. I don't think that's ever happened. I was mentioning how it probably happens in the NBA with all the home court advantage being as prevalent as it is in the playoffs, but 2 series in a row like that, I don't even know if that's happened.
No, and Snug is right. The Rangers did look really good tonight. They did. The Carolina's going to have to figure out how they can put the puck in the net, because if they don't figure that out soon, the Rangers could win this series because and they got to decide when Frederick Anderson's coming back.
This game could be the indicative of it because a lot of the goals were bad in that game that he allowed. Ron,
so it's and this is what's happened. You know, the Rangers have gotten very lucky in these last 2 rounds to face 2 backup goalies. I mean, it's benefited the Rangers. It really has. And obviously, they're not going to be, if they get out of this round, it's not going to be a benefit to play Vasilevsky because he's not missing that series.
No,
so,
he had his the first 3 games of the Toronto series. He wasn't great. Since then, he's back to being fantastic, best goalie in the league.
I think he's the best goalie in the league. He's been the best goalie in the league
for like 5 years straight. Yeah,
if Shesterkin didn't have the year that he had, I mean, Vasilevsky probably would have won Vezina trophy.
Yeah, he's won 1. He's been a finalist like 3 other times. Like, yeah, he's been that for a while. And you remember too, like even before he was a starter, he came in for Bishop a lot in the playoffs, and he was great for then too.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of good goalies in the NHL now. It's pretty amazing. I mean, and here in the Northeast with Shesterkin, you have Sorokin now. I mean. You have over there Samsonov for Washington. A lot of these Russian goaltenders, Vasilevsky. I mean,
Saros in Nashville.
Bobrovsky is another great Russian goalie. I mean, the Russian goaltending is really been dominating in the NHL, and you see it. I mean, I would say the top 7-8 goalies in the NHL are Russian. So
yeah, really the only one I can think of that isn't is Connor Hellebuck on Winnipeg, but that's really it.
Yeah,
Jeff says Wisconsin's still going to get body bagged by Ohio State.
That, yeah.
And Ben responds, Wisconsin's winning the Big Ten. Yes, because the Big Ten West winner always wins the Big Ten. Yeah. Slick says we should start talking about how ferocious the Celtics defense looked last night.
We're going to get into the basketball in just a few moments. I just want to finish up with baseball. The Mets are playing great baseball right now. They really are. Losing Max Scherzer for 6 to 8 weeks, could be almost 3 months, I'm hearing now.
Yep.
And not having Jacob deGrom, who arguably is the best pitcher in baseball, and they're still winning. It really shows you who Buck Showalter is as a manager, and how much he gets out of the players that he has when they do play. Lindor's had a fantastic year. He really has had a breakout year after what he had last year, and really wasn't the player that the Mets paid $330 million to. Pete Alonso is going to be fighting for a new contract in the offseason. He's smacking the ball all over the place right now. I mean, they're getting obviously one of the best hitters in baseball right now is a guy that did not hit the ball very well last year. And you know who I'm talking about, Jeff McNeil.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic, really, early this season. Cavanaugh, who a guy that they brought in the offseason, has been fantastic. I mean, this lineup, besides maybe 3 or 4 different players, has been hitting on all cylinders. And been very impressed with this team.
Yeah, it's really only so far Escobar that has off to a slow start, and just the rotation of what other bench player or outfielder would come in that case. They have the platoon of Smith and Davis, and whoever comes in as a catcher really hasn't been hitting so far with either McCann or.
Who would have thought that the Mets' strength would be their hitting, not their pitching?
Yeah, it's weird to think because the Mets' lineup depth has never been like this, where it performs all well at the same time, too. They're the best 2-out hitting team in the National League, both RBIs and hits this season, and they have a deep lineup for the first time that we ever see. They've built deep lineups on paper in the past, too, and really haven't amounted to anything, too. Look at last year. They were supposed to be this kind of thing last year, too, and it never amounted to anything. A lot of guys had bad years, like Lindor, like you were saying. Now, Lindor still hasn't gotten the batting average up, still 235, but OPS 709, has 6 home runs already, 27 RBIs, and walking a lot. So that's a good sign. For the pitching, this will be a big test for Buck Showalter to manage this well, but so far he hasn't overused anybody.
Not yet, but it's going to be a problem as it progressively moves, because you lost your 2 best pitchers. You don't know when they're coming back, and this bullpen, there's still weaknesses in this bullpen.
Yeah.
And especially in the middle of the bullpen, and not at the end. I think the Mets are strong at the end.
Right.
I think it's the middle of their bullpen when you're going. If a pitcher is not pitching well in the 5th and 6th inning, you're bringing in that long end pitcher that's going to pitch 1 or 2 innings. The Mets are not in a position where May's gone; he's out for the season.
Yeah.
They're paying him a lot of money for him to sit on the bench for the rest of the season, and there's just a lot of different players that really haven't produced as well as you expected them to produce. Jason Shreve has pitched very well for the Mets. He really has. But we saw him with the Yankees. He pitched very, very well in the first half. They overdid him, and then in the second half, he fell off.
Yeah, they were kind of stretching him out too much, though, too. Even though he's not necessarily like a lefty specialist type, they were using him in a lot of weird situations and kind of using him as an opener and a starter, too, which, yeah, he could pitch for length on occasion, but that's not his main thing. But yes, this year with the Mets, he had 1 bad outing a couple of weeks ago, but beyond that, he's been fantastic. And then Drew Smith and Edwin Diaz have been the 2 mainstays of this bullpen.
If the Mets are smart, they find every possible way to give him what he wants and sign him.
Yes.
Because right now, if you were to ask me who the best closer in baseball is, it's Edwin Diaz and everybody else. And that's coming from a Yankee fan.
But not only that, we were
talking.
And
I've stuck up for Edwin Diaz.
We know, yes, you have.
Traded for him, and how every Met fan says,
"Oh my God, you should have seen my arguments with the Beef his first year.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him. He's horrible.
Oh my God, the Beef wanted him to be demoted to the minor leagues in 2019. I remember when he called 3rd and long, like all the time, complaining about Edwin Diaz. Like, you're not going to demote him to the minor leagues. The Mets don't have better options in their bullpen.
I mean, right now his off-speed pitches are almost unhittable.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you can't even hit him. His changeup is. And his curve,
hard curve. He's got a hard curve, and he's got a slider too. That The hard curve is the one he uses the most, though, too. And then the up and in fastball is as good as anyone.
Doesn't he throw a changeup?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw it as often,
No.
but it's still good when he
It's
does
good.
do it. Because, again, it's designed to change speeds because he has the hard off speed pitches, too. Then he can also change
He has
speeds
a
when he needs
four-seam
to.
fastball.
Yep. He's got a hard four-seam fastball. He's peaked, I think, at 98 this year with that. And it's best when it's up and in, really, to jam the hitters. And he's really shown that this year.
He's been unbelievable.
And he's also done better in longer rolls, too, where he's gotten some 4-out saves, some 5-out saves that sometimes he wasn't comfortable in years past, too. And that's been a good sign for him, too. But going back to the contract, yeah, also what we were saying last week, how the closers sometimes have this short shelf life, too. Get your money now while you get the chance, because sometimes those things flame out after 2 years, 3 years of dominance. And Diaz has been in more like 5 years, but it's a very fluky position. So definitely get your money now if you're Edwin Diaz.
I mean, if you look at his numbers, I mean, his ERA is 2.00, but his whip is 1.056. I mean, he has 34 strikeouts in 18 games. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Only 8 walks this year, too.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, 18 innings pitched, and he has 34 strikeouts. I mean, that's
almost
almost 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Edwin Diaz has had a very good year, and if I were the Mets, I'd lock him up, because if you don't lock him up, somebody will. So it's right now, if you were to tell me right now who is the best closer this year in baseball, it's Edwin Diaz and everybody else. Now, it's early, but that's been the strength of the Mets, bullpen is Edwin Diaz. So if they keep it up, they're in very good shape. And the Mets, they're right now down 8-2, I think, against the Giants in the 5th inning. As far as the Yankees are concerned, all you New York fans, the Yankees won again. They're the first team to hit 30 wins this year. They're 30-13. I mean, the Yankees are on a roll. They were going on that 2 or 3 skid of losing. They were down by 5-3 going into the 8th inning, and the Yankees came back and they won this game on a walk-off. Who hit the walk-off? I'm not mistaken.
It was number 39. I couldn't tell who it was. It was a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
I saw Hicks was on the base paths, and I think Glaber was too. I don't know who scored the run. Whoever 39 was the one that got the walk-off hit. But yeah, they lost a couple games against the White Sox. It's one of those series where the White Sox aren't going to be that bad forever, though. So
as
they
far
to get hot eventually.
As far as some basketball is concerned, and there's quite a few things. I left basketball really to the end, and we will talk about the Cardinals being picked for Hard Knocks for the regular season, which I think is a great move, a really, really good move by the NFL.
Oh, by the way, it was Jose Trevino, so it was a backup catcher.
Oh, okay. Oh, Trevino's had a very good year, by the way. Already the Yankees bring him in. So from the Texas Rangers. Yep. But anyways, this Celtics and Heat series, this is going to come down to 7 games. Everybody knows that this series is going to come down to that 7th game. Now, the Celtics, I've been saying this, they're as good a defensive team that we've seen in a very long time. When they're playing at the top of their game and they're doing the things that they have done right all season long, and Tatum's hitting shots, Jaylen Brown's hitting shots, and they're getting, custom shots by Williams or even Smart, it's very hard to beat this team. And this team, if this team keeps you under 100, good luck. I mean, the Celtics have looked good in certain parts of these in this series. I mean, for 2 games they've looked good, in 2 games they've looked So I think they're very well matched up against one another. And I do believe that obviously Golden State's going to knock off the Mavericks. I don't see the Mavericks coming back. So
yeah, the no 3-0 deficit ever in NBA history. So
I think whoever comes out of this series could beat the Golden State Warriors. I think there's a lot of deficiency with the Golden State Warriors. I think they figured out if they could take Luka Doncic out and to double team him and let everybody else beat him, they just can't. And if you've seen the video and the picture that they posted up on Facebook, you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Poole, and Draymond Green standing over him as Luka Doncic is sitting on his ass in a cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
So I think whoever comes out of this series is going to win the championship with the Heat and the Celtics, because I think both teams can defensively stop the Golden State Warriors. What I've seen in this series is whoever can hit the 3-point shot in one of these, each and every one of these games, that's the team that usually has won. Okay. And I think the Celtics are just as good offensively, in certain aspects of their game as the Heat. The one thing I can say about the Heat that I think they're better than the Celtics at is I think they're getting more points off the bench than the Celtics are. So do I think the Celtics could win this series? Yeah, the Celtics can win this series. I think whoever comes out of this series is going to win it all. Now, what the Celtics did yesterday was fantastic. They shut down a very good offense to 84 points, I think it was, or 80 points.
82, yeah.
Yeah. If you can shut down the Miami Heat under, 90 points, you're going to win. I mean, and Miami's strength is their three ball. I mean, they have Robinson, they have Hero, they have Butler, they have obviously so many different weapons that could shoot the three. So
they got Lowry back yesterday too.
And also, here's another thing. They haven't been rebounding very well either in this series, Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been out rebound in this series big time by the Celtics. And if they can't figure that out, they don't stand a chance in this 7-game series either. But there's something about the Heat that tells me that this is going to go back and forth, and I think this is going to go to 7 games. No matter what happens, this is going to go to 7 games. The question is, who wants it more? And who's going to play when there's last 5 minutes and the game is close? Who's going to outplay who's best player? That's the question. And right now, the best player in this series, and been the best player in this series, is, believe it or not, Marcus Smart, who's been the best player in this series. He really has. And he's not even their best player.
And he hasn't even played every game either. And the Celtics defense has still been fantastic. I missed the beginning of the game. I saw at one point with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, the score was 18-1. I could not believe my eyes.
And there goes Jeff attacking me again. I give the Celtics a little credit, and he calls me a clown. You know what? Screw you. Okay? Yeah, I can't sit here and talk to these two idiots because they're Boston fans. You know what's so funny? What makes them such clowns is that when a person sits here and actually gives the Boston Celtics a little bit of credit, and when you could sit there and just listen to what I have to say, you got something smart to say. Maybe you can learn something, because obviously you guys have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. What? Because I said something about Marcus Smart, because I didn't think Marcus Smart was going to be the defensive player of the year. Why? Because I thought that the Miami Heat was the better team, and I still think that they are the better team than the Celtics are. All around, I think they're a better team than the Celtics, but the Celtics are the better overall defensive team. They can stop the perimeter shooting of the Tyler Heroes of the world and the Robinson. Robinson has not had a good series shooting. And
it only took him. He was like, his first good game has been game 4. That was it.
Yeah, whatever. And as far as I'm concerned, the only person that's a circus is probably you, Jeff, because you're probably the pigs that the clowns bring out, and like to dress up as like sheep. And by the way, Snug, you could sit here and talk. Why don't you just eat your cupcakes and just relax and stuff your face? Because what do you know? Anyways,
Jeff says we could learn something. You didn't think Smart was a top 10 defender.
No, I didn't.
Learn something.
No, I didn't.
And now the winner of the Hustle and Heart Award as well. But yeah, also Miami's offense has been the epitome of great one game, bad the next, and really bad at certain points too, especially game 4. Victor Oladipo was the only guy that scored over 20 points in game 4, which is very uncharacteristic.
And here's another thing about Victor Oladipo that what you've seen. His deficiency is unstrength. His non-strength is defense.
Right.
And he has been bad. When he is on the field, Boston scores, relentlessly when he's on the court. So you need his offense, but you also need his defense. And if he doesn't play any kind of defense, which he hasn't, what he reminds me of? He's not a point guard. He reminds me of Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
A guy that could score at will when he's on. And he can't defend anybody. You saw what the Celtics did to Kyrie Irving. You saw what Tatum did to Kyrie Irving when Kyrie Irving would give him a lane. Same thing with Oladipo. I just think Oladipo, when he would play for Indianapolis, he played a little bit more defense than he has.
Right.
Ever since he's gone, he's left Indiana. He's just
it also could be the injuries too, all eventually adding up to you.
He's looked horrible defensively.
Yeah, and the problem with that kind of thing is the Celtics get a lot of their scoring from the wing, and it's not even just Tatum; it's also some of the guys off the bench.
What the hell is Bam Adebayo doing? I mean, what the hell is going on with this guy? I mean. Everybody praises him. He made all that money in the offseason. What are they giving him?
The 5-year, $187 contract.
$187 million. Yeah. He's making top-end money. And this guy has not shown up in this series. He's been horrible.
No, Robert Williams has outplayed him big time.
He has been horrible in the series. How do you pay a guy $187 million and the guy doesn't show up in probably the most important game of his career, most important series of his career?
He's not scoring. He's not rebounding.
Scoring, he's not rebounding. Yeah. They're getting out rebounded. I think yesterday, what did they out rebound by 14, 13 rebounds or something like that?
That's for a Miami team that's supposed to pride themselves on the size that they have and the defense. That is really a bad look. And again, Robert Williams has been fantastic, but he's also been in and out with injury too. And again, the Celtics, even without Marcus Smart, without Al Horford in game 1, 2, played well defensively, and without Williams at a certain point in the series, out rebounding the Heat. By the way, Jeff has returned.
Guys, you guys are missing the whole thing. Rob Williams is the key to the whole series, the entire series. If you actually pay attention, right? Because this is what happened in the Bucks series. Rob Williams was out that whole series, which allowed Giannis to score a bunch and whatever. So guys like Marcus Smart, who can defend all 5 positions, we're trying to run to Giannis, right? So Rob Williams is out. Then Bam Adebayo what did he get? 40 points that one game when Miami won? That one, you know what I'm saying? When Rob Williams plays and they can defend the paint and have someone in the paint to defend the rim, then the guards can just stay on the perimeter and guard. When Rob Williams isn't in the game, other teams have their way.
Well, yeah, Adebayo's not a shooter, so yeah, he's got to really
horrible.
He's really got to rely on his inside game. He can do maybe a hook shot here and there, but that's really it.
Right, but you can't just go, Adebayo's been horrible because he had a great game. He had a 40-point game or what, a 35-point game.
Yeah, in the first game.
Right, but when Rob Williams plays, Rob Williams shuts him down. It's not bad at Bam Adebayo. It's good Robert Williams.
He had 31 points in game.
Well, he had a bunch. He wouldn't stop scoring. I thought it was game 2 I thought it was game 3.
No, it was game 2. He scored 28 minutes the first game, 9 points, 6 rebounds.
Right.
Second game, 42 minutes, 31-10.
That game got out of hand. Yeah. But not many minutes that game got out of hand, so he rested a bunch.
Yeah, well, he has not been really good in this series. For a guy that's
because
maybe
of Robert Williams.
That's fine, but you're a star. You're making $187 million. You got to do something. You know, because
hey, listen, sometimes guys are just better. Rob Williams, just better. Marcus Smart, just better.
Well, I don't know if Rob Williams
is for a team that was supposed to get knocked out in the first round.
Still at it with this thing with the Nets.
Pretty good for a team that was out, right, Speedy? They were out. They were dead. Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they're so great. Oh my God,
that's right.
I picked
them. I picked them to the win. Yeah. What? And most people did. And you think I was the only one that said
not
that?
Me. I got them all the way to the ship, baby.
Because you're a Celtic fan.
All the way to the ship.
Smart ass.
All the way to the ship. Ben had the Bucks. Guess who didn't have the Bucks? This guy. This guy.
I didn't have the Bucks either. I didn't have the Bucks winning.
No, because you didn't even have them getting them that far.
No, I didn't. I really.
You had them losing to Miami.
That's why you didn't pick the.
Yeah, right. I had Miami going to the championship.
Yeah. Not anymore, baby. Rob Williams plays, we dominate.
I had Miami and
Phoenix. And honestly, the winner of this series is not going to matter. The winner of this series is going to lose the next series because both teams are badly hurt. Jimmy Butler's beat up. Tyler Hero's beat up. He just sat the last game. Marcus Smart virtually broke his ankle and had Kyle Lowry land on it. Rob Williams is coming off surgery. He only plays maybe every other game. Both these teams are so banged up. I don't know how either team can win the next series.
Well,
but I'll still pick the Celtics. I ride or die with my homies.
I think whoever comes out of this series is going to win the whole thing. I think Golden State, they're playing a Dallas team that is very, the fact that they beat Phoenix was fantastic. It was unbelievable. It's a great story. But it was all about Luka Doncic. And what did Golden State do? They shut down Luka Doncic, and that's why they're down 3-0. And they're not going to win. They're not even going to win one game. I think they're going to sweep them because they know that everything runs through Luka. And if you can stop Luka, you can stop this team. And they've done it. Luka, he has been so frustrated.
Stop a dude that can pull up from the logo.
No question. But guess what? He has been so frustrated. How many times? And by the way, this is why I hate the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry and even Poole, you see they provoke. How many times they did it with Jokic the last series, the series before. They do this all the time. They love to provoke these players, and you see, Luka Doncic, he almost got into a fist fight with Steph Curry and Draymond Green, and the same thing happened in the last series with Poole and Steph Curry with Jokic. They just love to piss off everybody, and that's why I don't want to see them win. I do not want to see that team win.
You're gonna have a really hard time for the Celtics Warriors final.
No, I won't. I'll be rooting for the Celtics.
Wow, you hear that, Jeff?
Yeah, well, here's the other thing that happened today. You know, another guy Errol doesn't think is very good. First team All NBA, Jason Tatum. First team All NBA.
I don't think Jason Tatum's good. First of all,
no, he was more critical of Brown, not Tatum.
I love Jason Tatum. First of all, Jason Tatum played for Duke. He played for Duke.
Yeah.
And I've always loved Jason Tatum, so you don't know what you're talking about. I hate it. I hate the fact that he plays for the Celtics, but I love Jason Tatum. I'm a Duke fan.
He looks good in green, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't.
He looks good in green.
He should be wearing jet colors if he looks good in green. You know, so
the Jets
make him
could never,
sports now.
Yeah.
The Jets could never dream of getting someone that good.
Oh yeah, well they got one in Sauce Gardner is shutting down people right now.
Yeah. See, do you see how ridiculous that statement is? He hasn't even played a game yet, and you're saying that he's as great as Jason at his sport as he.
I knew how to freaking just like.
What do you think, Jeff? Should the Jets sign Marcus Smart to help out their secondary?
He played better defense than any of the Jets did last year.
Okay, you're on drugs, but whatever.
Marcus Smart can guard anybody.
Yeah, I'm glad you think anybody. You think anybody in Boston could guard anything, do anything, jump, fly?
That's not true.
Yes.
I'm taking the guy that got 99 out of 100 first place votes.
Good, congratulations to him. Now, would you like to get on your knees now? Would you like
listen,
it?
I'm just saying. You're telling everyone else they should be able.
Hey,
to
I don't tell anybody anything.
You didn't even know Marcus
take
Smart
words
was a
out of
good
my
defender.
mouth all the time on this show. You take words out of my mouth. Yeah, what am I
just
talking
repeat
about?
what you say.
Oh, yeah?
Marcus Smart's not even a top 10 defender.
You just said Jason. I can't stand Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum should be a first ballot offensive player, which is wrong. I love Jason Tatum.
No, it was voted on today. It's not wrong. It's actually very correct. Look up first team All NBA.
That's fine.
Voted today.
Yeah, guess what? I love Jason Tatum. I hate him as a Celtic.
Right.
Love
You
him.
just said it was wrong. It's not wrong. It came out today. It was voted on.
Wrong what? I didn't say anything was wrong. What are you talking about?
You said it's not. You said it was wrong that he wasn't voted first team. It was. He was voted first team All NBA.
That's what I said. It would be wrong if he wasn't voted first team All NBA. Okay,
because he's great. He looks good in green.
He looks, yeah, as a Jet. That's about it.
He can do it all. He single-handedly body bagged your boy Kevin Durant.
He's not my boy. I'm a Knicks fan. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? You picked him in the first round.
So what? I picked him. What does that mean?
Kevin Durant's got too much for him. Jason Tatum, body bag.
Yeah, body bag.
Just because you're a team doesn't mean you have to root for them.
If you actually think Jason Tatum's better than Kevin Durant, you're on drugs. Okay.
Who shut him down in that series?
That's fine. Whatever you think.
They went
Jeff, he wasn't 100% healthy. You can honestly sit here and tell me that Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant. You are on drugs.
Is Jason Tatum 100% healthy? No, he's got a shoulder stinger.
Dude, Kevin Durant wasn't even. He hasn't been healthy all second half.
Right,
of the season.
right. So now it's a 1-up. So I point out.
Don't sit here and tell me some bull thing. Don't sit here and tell me that Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant, because that is a bull crap statement. I'm not going to say it because you know it is. There's no way in hell he is. He might be, in a year or two. Yeah, as he gets older. But right now, he is not better than Kevin Durant. I would put any amount of money, Jason Tatum versus Kevin Durant. He doesn't stand a chance one-on-one. He doesn't stand a chance.
Well, good thing the sport isn't one-on-one, and we just saw what happened, and Tatum shut him down.
Yeah, you shut him down. Yeah.
Snug says Rob Williams is just better. Sounds like a bumper sticker. Ben says the refs will help the refs will step in like they did in the Bucks series. Snug says Steph Curry has made Golden State the favorite in this series. What?
No. We're not glossing over that. We're not doing it. A Bucks fan saying that the Celtics got help. Go check out my Twitter timeline, and I've got clips on there of Giannis taking 7 steps to the bucket, no traveling call. I got Giannis, right, putting his hand on Jaylen Brown's shoulder, pushing him down so he can go up for a dunk, and they called the foul on Jaylen Brown. I don't want to hear, dude, the refs were helping the Bucks as much as they could. Absolutely ridiculous that you'd be like, oh, they helped the Celtics. No, we're not doing that. It was an absolute joke what they let Giannis get away with. It's a joke. How many times does that dude travel?
A couple
time down the court.
goaltendings too that were bad.
Yeah, right. There you go. The goaltendings too, right? Dude, we could go on and on and on about all the calls they gave Giannis, and then the Bucks fan is saying the refs favored the Celtics. Get out of here with that trash.
Stuck says Steph Curry Magic has made Golden State the favorites in the casinos. Now Marcus Smart was a bum a few weeks back, and now he's all pro first team NFL.
And
the dude
they
is
did
amazing.
it without Rob Williams, and they beat him without Rob Williams. I don't want to hear nothing. The Celtics couldn't even defend the paint, and they beat Giannis. Couldn't even defend the paint.
Snug says nobody is 100% healthy. Well, yeah, probably not at this point in the season. Nobody is 100% healthy. But
dude, the Celtics and the Heat are both. Dude, Hero sat out that whole last game. Jimmy Butler, that game the Celtics almost came back, didn't even play the second half because he had knee swelling. Like,
right,
dude, every dude on the Heat is hurt right now, I think.
Yeah, they just got Lowry back too, so they've.
And how healthy is Lowry?
Yeah,
he
right.
missed like the first 2 series, I think.
Right. Yeah. No, he missed a while, and again, he's coming in. He came in kind of rusty. He didn't play great. He played probably better than the rest of the team because that offensive showcase was horrible in Game 4 for Miami. But still, he's not back to what they need him to be because he was one of the best playoff players for Toronto when they won the NBA championship, and even years before that. So they're hoping they can get back to that form with Kyle Lowry, but it might not happen.
I want to like Lowry, I really do. But anytime any foul is called, he runs right to the ref with his hands up like it never happened.
So does most NBA point guards, but okay.
No, he's way worse.
I think James Harden is the worst, but yeah.
Oh, I don't. No. LeBron, I think, takes the cake for it.
I think LeBron used to. I think James Harden does now.
Dude, watch Kyle Lowry in this series. Watch anytime any whistle blows, he'll run straight at the ref with his arms in the air like that never happened, and then they show the replay and he's actually molesting the dude on the way to the basket, trying to claim it's not a foul.
Molesting. Oh God.
I think there were a couple. Even Devin Booker last series was pretty bad too. The way he was whining about
before we have a couple more stories that I want to get into. The Lakers situation, attaching a first round to trade Russell Westbrook. Being that Russell Westbrook has one more year left on his contract, they have to decide what they're doing with him. Obviously, I think Russ is on his way out as an NBA superstar player. The question is, why would they do that? And if they do that, they have to decide. They have to make sure that Zach LaVine, because I've been hearing stories that Zach LaVine's number one choice to go and play for in the offseason will be the Lakers. Now, if this is true, what do the Lakers do this offseason with Russell Westbrook? Because with Russell Westbrook, he's still owed, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
it's $41 million.
$41 million. Zach LaVine is going to be requesting somewhere between 30 and 35.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is one of the more talented young offensive, defensive players in the league now. And does this make the Lakers a championship-bound team with him, LeBron James, and obviously Anthony Davis?
If they don't trade him.
So it's an interesting question.
They have to break that group up. And just circling around to a previous point.
Yeah.
Got it. Lakers. They have to break that team up. Can I read you the first team All-NBA?
Sure.
Okay.
Be fun, won't it?
Okay.
Giannis, Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum. That's the first team. You ready for the second team? Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, and Kevin Durant. You mean to tell me Jason Tatum is first team All-NBA and Kevin Durant second?
Yeah, you know why?
I was told Durant was better. I was told Durant was better.
I'll tell you why I'll tell you why Kevin Durant wasn't first All Team. You ready to hear this?
Because he's not better?
No, because Kevin Durant in the second half of the season missed a majority of the second half of the season. So why would they make him first All NBA team when he didn't barely play in the second half? That's why.
He was the only guy playing. He was the only guy playing because Kyrie was the one sitting. And
how many games did Kevin Durant play
this
this year? How many games did Kevin Durant play this year? I'll look it up right now. Kevin Durant played in 55 games this year.
Yeah, that's like a year first team.
55 games this
27
year.
games.
And he averaged 29.9 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, and 6 assists. Oh, yeah, he was horrible. Let me tell you.
What's the best ability?
Availability, yes.
Availability.
Yeah.
And guess
Let's
what?
see how many
Jason
games.
Tatum,
Jason Tatum. The only thing he outdid Kevin Durant in is one more rebound than him. And by the way, Kevin Durant had 7.4 rebounds. He had more assists, more rebounds, and more points practically.
But
Kevin Durant.
But this is what's funny.
He did, and every kind of way he was better.
He probably did. But you know what? Here's what's funny about your metrics.
Oh God,
you never take defense into consideration. Jason Tatum, defensive star. Kevin Durant, cone. He's a cone.
Kevin Durant is not a cone defensively.
He's a cone.
He is not a cone defensively.
Jason
You are
Tatum
on
is
drugs.
the leader of the greatest defensive unit in the NBA. And
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart is. And we'll look at even better numbers.
The Hustle and Heart Award
Field goal
winner now.
percentage. Field goal percentage. Jason Tatum, 45.3. Kevin Durant, 51.8. Field goal percentage at the 3, 38.3 to 35.3. Better with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, free throws, 91% to 85. That's not millimeters. That's a lot.
Jason Tatum, unbelievable defense. Kevin Durant, cone.
Dude, Kevin Durant is so much better of a player than Jason Tatum. You're on drugs. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the entire NBA doesn't think so.
He played in 55 games. That's why he wasn't a first all. Dude, he was an MVP candidate before he got hurt.
And what's the best ability?
Oh, God. Availability. Could you stop?
Availability.
Yeah, I'm going to give you availability. I'm going to give you a good swift kick to the butt.
What? Something you're not taking into consideration. What's the best ability?
He was hurt this year.
Availability.
Yeah, okay. Availability
Right?
it is.
You know who doesn't get hurt? Jason Tatum.
Yeah, well, good. Congratulations. By the way, he only played in
Man of
76
Steel.
games. Good.
Man of
He
Steel.
only missed 6 games. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Who cares? Sometimes you got to sit out a game once in a while. Healthy, scratch it. By the way,
Load management.
Can we
Dude, you can't argue
stop-
this. To think that Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant, it's a joke. So you're wasting.
It's not a joke. First team versus second team.
It's a joke.
There's actually
joke.
There's actually an award for it. It's first team versus second team.
It's a
Who got
joke,
first team?
dude. The
Who got
only
first
reason why he wasn't a
Who got first
first team player is because he played 55 games. There's nothing there.
And
there's nothing you
what's the
can
best-
argue.
and what's the best ability?
Shut up. I don't want to hear this anymore.
Right.
It's dumb.
That would
it's
be
dumb.
an ability.
It's
What's
dumb.
the best ability?
It's dumb.
Availability.
Yeah. Dude, I just proved you wrong, and you're still trying to find a way to argue it.
No, you didn't prove me wrong.
Yes, I
because
did.
First team versus second team.
Because Kevin Durant's better. Much better. Much
Except
better.
I have the awards for it.
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. You think he's no good?
Yeah. I didn't say he was no good.
Defensive player. Yeah, you did. Not a
I didn't
top
say
10 defender. is what
I
you
didn't.
said.
I didn't
Not
think
a
he
top
was.
10
No, I didn't think
not
he
a top
was.
10 defender.
Yes.
Turns out he's the best defender in the league.
Good. This year, he's not the best defender in the league. He's the best defender in the league this
every year.
No,
he
he's
just
not.
doesn't get credit.
No, it is.
And think about how
Get outta
special
here.
you need to be.
Get out of
Think
here.
about how special you need to be a guard and do it.
Yeah.
When was the last time that happened? Gary Payton.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great.
And what's Gary
Wow.
Payton considered? One of the greatest defenders the league has ever seen.
He
And
did
now
it three.
Marcus Smart.
He did it three, 4 times. Let's see Marcus Smart do it 3,
Marcus
4
Smart's
times.
still young. Marcus Smart's
He's not doing
You know
it.
what? You know
Get
what
outta
Gary
here.
Payton never did? Ran into the
How
crowd
much
and
you want?
went to
Okay,
the fight
how much
fans.
you want to bet he doesn't win the Defensive Player of the Year next year? How much you want to bet?
Because
how much you want to bet?
people
Let's
because
put some
people
money
like
on
you
it.
don't give them
Let's
enough
put
credit.
let's put $1,000 on it. Let's put
Because people like you don't
$1,000
give
on
them
it.
enough credit.
Let's put
No, there's too many
$1,000
Errols
on it.
in the world.
Come
There's
on,
too many clown
put
shoes
a
Errols in
yeah.
the world.
Hey, pull your clown shoes because
Oh
I
my
proved you
God,
wrong
did you just
with
see
Kevin
that?
Durant.
This dude just scored from center ice.
Yeah, I was trying to see what happened on that. Was that like one of the half court, half ice type things?
Oh, he's spraying himself with water.
Mike Smith is a joke.
I haven't seen that happen since it happened with Cam Ward in 2014 or something like that.
I didn't see what
I-
happened.
First of all, I love making fun of Errol, but I was literally too shocked when I saw this. Put the shooter tutor out there.
Holy no! I had to see. It looked like a clear at first. I had to see if it actually went in. Yeah.
Dude, that's from his own zone.
That was the
That's
own zone.
behind his own.
Wow,
blue
that's
line.
even further than the one I remember from. I forget it was
Oh.
Carolina was playing that year.
Can you imagine not stopping that?
Oh my god!
Dude, this series has had everything.
Wow. No,
And listen,
I never would have
and-
expected to see that in the playoffs.
And listen, I don't condone fans throwing anything, but did you not think it was funny that a couple of fans threw dollar bills at Evander Kane?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he does need it, right? So I guess it's not really throwing
Yeah,
something.
yeah, he's got to owe those casinos back.
Not after this season. Not after this playoff series. He's going to get a lot of money in the offseason.
Well, he already got a lot of money.
No, but I'm saying
off the Sharks contract.
Yes,
Errol's talking about his next contract.
His next contract's going to be big.
Yeah, it's still not going to matter. He's so far in the hole. You know, he had to file for bankruptcy.
I know, but he's going to win. He's going to make some money. He's going to make some
Great.
money.
And after he pays his agent, maybe he'll have enough McDonald's money or something.
Jeff, thank you for calling, bud. I'll talk to you Thursday. Thanks.
First team versus second team. Enjoy your night.
Goodbye.
Speedy, what's the best ability?
Goodbye. Just hang up the phone, God damn it. I mean, seriously. You know what it is with him? When I prove him wrong, he'll always find something to say. Like, he tried to compare Jason Tatum to Kevin Durant. He tried to compare Jason Tatum to arguably one of the best players of our history of basketball. Okay? And I love Jason Tatum. He's not Kevin Durant, nor will he ever be.
Snug says maybe 4 years ago, KD. No, Snug. Like last year, KD was fantastic too. Did you see what he did in the playoffs the year before?
KD averaged almost 30 points a game this year in 55 games, and 8 rebounds and 6 assists. He was on his way to win the MVP this year, and if he played the full season, he would have won the MVP. So to sit here and try to compare Jason Tatum to him, it's ridiculous. And I when he said that, I can't say. And I compared all his numbers. They're not even close. Yeah. They're not even close.
Like says, if how many games you play counts as whether you go first or second team, Tatum played more games. That makes him a better player.
That's bull. It's younger player.
Yeah, and you're not going to win an award.
Jason Tatum is 26 years old. Kevin Durant is 34?
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost a 10-year difference.
Not only that, you're also not going to get any awards based on partial seasons either, even if your pace is that insane too. Remember even
if you don't think by numbers that Jason Tatum should be second team and Kevin Durant should be first team, then I don't know what the hell you guys are looking at.
And awards are going to be just for this year too. They're not going to necessarily.
Jason Tatum's not even in the same boat as Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the top 3 player in the league. Jason Tatum is not.
Yeah, and I think sometimes with these awards too, it's easy to factor in like the small samples and why they're not going to be able to win awards. Yes, you're not going to win an award on 55 games. Same kind of thing. Let's take baseball, for example. Mike Trout, the year in 2017 when he got hurt and he only played like 60 games, was on pace for an insane, historically good year. They're not going to give him an MVP or make him an MVP finalist because he only played in 60 games. Remember all the Yankee fans, Gary Sanchez's rookie year were complaining he didn't win? Yeah, he only played half the season. That's why he didn't win. Same kind of thing here. Kevin Durant's not going to get first team on 55 games.
And that's why he could take his availability and shove it up where the sun doesn't shine. Because it doesn't really matter. Jason Tatum is not Kevin Durant, nor will he ever be. Okay. Kevin Durant is going to go down as one of the top 10 players to ever play this game. Okay. And Jason Tatum is not. All right. So stop with this. And right now, Kevin Durant is a top 3 player in the league, and Jason Tatum is not. So it's ridiculous. The fact that he had the balls to say that just shows you the bunch of balls. By the way, my mom's going to be probably going back to the hospital. She has a bone infection in her foot.
Oh wow, sorry to hear that.
So she just texted me, and she's not going to the hospital tonight. She's going back to the hospital tomorrow. So that's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's scary.
So
wishing her all the best.
So do I. To finish up quickly, we'll talk more about this on Thursday. The Cardinals to be on Hard Knocks. I think this will be very exciting for the NFL. I think that was the perfect team to put for the season's Hard Knocks, especially the Kyler Murray saga right now with the team being eliminated the way they did as one of the top teams in the NFC. Losing Hopkins for the season. I mean,
6 games.
Well, 6 games. I'm sorry. 6 games, bringing in Hollywood Brown there, his best friend. I think it's going to be very fun to watch this team. Zaven Collins and the defense, the young defense that they have.
Budda Baker's quite a personality too. He's going to go off on that show.
Yeah. So Snug, they don't know, but usually when you have a bone, infection, sometimes they have to remove the foot. So I don't know. So I'll keep everybody informed. Pray for my mother.
Yeah.
Also, we will also talk more about, could Commanders trade Terry McLaurin. McLaurin available, one of the elite wide receivers in this league. I would say top 15 wide receiver in this league, top 12.
Yep.
He is, so it seems like he's very much available, which
they're really far off.
I don't
from the reports
understand.
I've heard.
I don't understand
Which
that.
is weird because they have a new GM that was seeming like they were going to do things differently and try to make the players happier the way they are, not like the previous regime that just wanted to overpay everybody. And then they let him go after a couple seasons and they all got hurt, whatever. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get this contract again. And they might be worried about the second receiver contracts like any other team. But it is definitely surprising that they couldn't do that because you really have nothing, not much else offensively. Antonio Gibson's a nice young running back, but he's not elite. And who else you have after that? You just drafted Jahan Dotson. I don't think he'll be a number one receiver.
You know, it's so funny. He makes fun of me by the way I pronounce people's names, like McLaurin to McLaren. Who cares? But you want to know something, Jeff? Every time you have something to argue about because you're trying to find and nitpick something, you're wrong. Just like the Kevin Durant thing, saying that Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant, which is a joke. I don't care what the NBA says, just because he played in 76 games. It's a joke. He is not Kevin Durant. And if you were to sit here and you line up 10 experts right now and say who should have been first team all NBA, Kevin Durant or Jason Tatum, they all would say Kevin Durant. Not one of them would say Jason Tatum. The only reason why Jason Tatum is first team is because he played in 76 and Kevin Durant 55 because of injury. And he's also 10 years older than your boyfriend. So there you go.
Boyfriend.
All right. So keep complaining. For Ranger fans, you should be excited. 2-2 going back to Carolina. Carolina has a lot to find themselves. I don't know what Rob Brindamore is going to say to them going into Thursday's game. They're going to have to figure out who their identity is because they do not want to lose this game at home. Because if they do, the Rangers can eliminate them right back in Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah, no, that'll break up the pattern entirely. The Rangers are going to have to take one anyway. But you look about a team that's really would lose momentum losing 3 games in a row, and just after going up 2-0 the way they did, it might just show like they just don't have that right identity for that. We'll see if they switch goalies too. It'll be an interesting decision Brindamore has to make.
What's the best ability? Here's the best ability, Jeff, for you to shut the hell up. How's that sound? That's the best ability. Shut up. How's that? Shut up.
Oilers just took the lead back with 3:27 to go.
I'll take away that bad goal that he gave up. Anyways,
still time.
That's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on Thursday. Thursday will be the last show for a week. For Sports Lab Mouths. Me and Speedy are taking the week off. I am going to Florida for a couple of days. Brittany's sister is moving down there, so we'll be going to Florida with her. So we will miss Tuesday and Thursday next week, and then we'll be back the week after on Tuesday and Thursday. So it's the first week that we're actually going to be skipping a show since we started. Really, it's been a long road, but we'll be back. Don't worry about it for all the fans out there. I know a week's worth of not our craziness won't be that bad, but
we'll still be crazy, just in different states.
Yeah, as far as Jeff is concerned, Jeff won't shut the hell up. So I think Jeff needs to stick a Twinkie in his mouth or maybe float to the bottom of his pool or something like that.
What are you, the beef now?
It's like a little anchor. He's like a little anchor. Maybe we should put an anchor on his stomach and maybe it'll sink him to the bottom or something like that.
Now you sound like the beef. Oh, I hope that guy jumps to the bottom of his pool. He was saying that during your party, too.
That's because he's copying me.
As that's so. Mm-hmm. There you go, beef. You've violated Errol's copyrights.
That's right. As far as Jeff's concerned, honestly, I hope the Celtics lose because it'll just shut him up. It'll just shut him up, and I don't have to listen to his crap. But he'll make us some kind of excuse. That's what Jeff likes to do.
But yet you'll root for them against the Warriors.
Oh, absolutely. I do not want to watch the Warriors win. So
the Warriors are the greater of two evils.
I hate the Warriors.
Well, I know that. I never would have expected you to hate him more than the Celtics, though.
Yeah. I will. If it's Celtics Warriors, I'll be rooting for the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, not for Jeff's sake, because I just
no, but not only him. You have Mikey C too. He'll buggy you.
Oh, Mikey C doesn't know what he's talking about half the time anyways. So Mikey C's in his own little world from the 80s with Larry Bird. What does Mikey C know? Anyways, Mikey will be coming into the studio soon. I'm going to try to get him. I might try to get him on Thursday if I can get him this Thursday. If not, when we come back from our vacation, I'll have Mikey Sue. Listen, Jeff, why don't you go back to Banana Land? How's that sound?
Oh,
go float on the bananas.
Using
to
your
Banana
own
Land.
fantasy land against him.
Banana Land. Anyways, that's it. We'll be back on Thursday. By the way, thank you to our friends Stefan Logan, ex-NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner, for joining us. He was awesome. And I hope your wife feels better, man.
Yeah,
we're supporting you. And our friend, another friend of the show, Wisconsin freshman cornerback Al Ashford, for thanking him and his father for joining us as well. We'll be back on Thursday. Good night.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.